Hello, welcome back to another episode of Podcast 572. As always, I'm your host, Kyle. I'm joined by my two friends, Dan and Matt. We're going to kick off how we always do, go through the games that we've been playing. And we've been, we didn't do a traditional episode last time, so we've had a little bit more time, but I feel like I haven't, even with that more time, I haven't played, that much.
Mm-hmm. Same.
So, my list is pretty light. I did not put it on the list, but I sat down one day and I grinded out the rest of the laundry store stuff. And I'm at the point now where I've made enough money that I probably don't have to do that much grinding in the next update. So that's why I was like, I should probably stop and try one of these other simulator games at this point. So I cracked into Gym Manager, which I've been sitting on a couple months. Also not bad, and it's just different company that makes this. It's not the same company, but it works. It works well. It's had a couple updates behind it. It is not in a very early access stage like something like that cinema one that came out a couple weeks ago. That was very early access. I saw a ton of bugs just in the little bit I played. But this game, Gym Manager, it works well. It basically, when you start it, you have your little bit gym. You can keep expanding it. It works just like any one of these other games. They have the carrot on the stick to keep you going. But one of the things I like about this one is there are people that can not pay their gym membership and try to leave, and you can hit them with a bat and they'll drop their money. Or there are people that will just try to sneak into the gym and use the equipment without paying. Same thing. You have to hit them, and all of these, by the way, the resolution for all these is to hit them with the bat that you have. The third one is you can get into situations where you'll have a paying customer that will use a piece of equipment too long or be too loud on it. And again, the resolution is to hit them with the bat. So, and it's fun too, because when you hit them with the bat, they totally just ragdoll up in the air. It looks ridiculous, super unrealistic in the best way possible. But I played about 4 to 5 hours of that, and I've gotten the first 3 sections of my gym and enough equipment that I'm starting to make money and can probably hire the first person, which will be a gym coach, trainer type person. So I do enjoy also at the same time. Right across the street from your gym is another gym that's called Daddy's Gym. And there's actually a character named Daddy that will come over and fuck with you.
Oh,
literally he comes over, maybe the first 2 days I'm open, he comes over and I see this guy come over, and every time he comes in, he'll walk into your store, and I didn't know it was him the first time because I didn't know who he was, but he will drop trash while he walks around your gym. It's he's dropping banana peels and stuff, and then he'll come up to you.
Lower the rating of your gym or something?
You have to clean it up, because if you have other people that come in and work, they can trip on the banana peels and stuff. But he'll come and talk to you, and he's just your gym's a piece of shit. How about we wager on this? If you make X amount of money today, I won't bother you anymore. It's pretty ridiculous. So, but yeah, his name is Daddy. I have not done one of the side quests you can do is to sabotage his gym. I've not done that yet. I'm not a high enough level. So,
okay.
But that is the gym you're competing with. There's also apparently 2 ways you can take out a loan. You can either go to the bank legitimately, or I have not found this person yet, but apparently there's what they call a shady individual you could borrow money from. Oh. But I have no idea where he is in the context of this weirdly set up town that this gym is in. It's it kind of looks like a city, but it kind of doesn't. It's really weird. It's hard to describe. But it has enough oddity to it, kind of like the laundry store game was like, okay, there's also these like really weird storylines you can do in that game. Like there's kids that are missing. You have to go do a little storyline about that. Or they did around Christmas, they did one where like Santa's here, you need to help him. Stuff like that. It seems like this game also has some oddity to it as well with some of the quests and stuff you can do. So it will keep me addicted for a while until, what was the one I sent you today? There's a liquor store one that's coming out.
Yeah. Oh,
that is made. The liquor store one is made by the same people that made Laundry Store. So okay. I will be into that when it comes out. There's a demo, but like I'll just buy it when it comes out. Because none of these games are expensive. They're all like $10-$12. So but I put time into that one of the nights this week just to get off of Laundry Store, because there's nothing else I can do in that game than just simply make more and more money. That I've bought everything in that game now. So I did that. I will say I have briefly tried Atomfall, because I will also, probably the next time we record, I'm going to try South of Midnight. I haven't had a chance yet, but I will say I briefly tried Atomfall. I played like maybe an hour and a half of it. I don't like it. So
no. Okay.
I'm probably not going to continue with it. It just, I don't know. It doesn't click for me. So it seems pretty janky. Like it doesn't play, like it runs fine. Like there's nothing wrong with its performance, but it also seems very Euro janky, if that makes sense. So, and well, sometimes I like those types of games. For whatever reason, this wasn't clicking with me. So I will bounce off. That's the joy of Game Pass. You can bounce off of it and not feel bad. So, and then other than that, just the two things you and I have been playing. We've finished the storyline of Space Marine 2. We're doing what the missions or whatever those are called.
And stuff,
operations.
It's kind of strange that it breaks it up in such a way like this, where I mean, I guess there is supposed to be a story where you play as these characters, but then operations is really just kind of playing levels, which are exactly like the levels you play in the story, but with your own type of character and how you want to play.
It feels like it's just a continuation of the story, even though the story is over. So, but that game continues to be fantastic. Just a great,
really good,
stupid Gears of War level co-op game.
It's just fun to play, controls well,
bros hanging out, the grapple,
fist pumping, handshaking.
Just our one friend has the grapple move, and every time it recharges, his character has to let you know, like, the grapple is ready, or I'm ready to grapple something, or something like that, which is pretty funny.
Out a thing and pulls himself towards an enemy.
It looks ridiculous when he does it too, because it's this big, huge space marine, and then he can just grapple like the Bionic Man or whatever. But that game is tremendous, and it looks insane. It's one of the two, and I'll mention this because I briefly did try this as well. I forgot to write this down, but it is one of now 2 PS5 Pro games I can say look better. The other is I did pick up and a deep discount Dragon's Dogma 2, and I can now say, having now owned that game on every platform you can, it looks fantastic on PS5 Pro. Like, it is the way to play that game. It runs wildly better than any other platform I've played it on. I'm sure if I had a better CPU in my computer, it'd be fine, but it like night and day compared to that Xbox version. How much better this game runs. And that could also be, there's been a year of patches since I played it, so I'm sure that goes into it as well, but like it pretty much runs at a lock 60 on the Pro. So it's kind of ridiculous. So at some point I'm going to jump in and spend time with that game now that I feel like it's playable. So I played through the tutorial, I made my character, and then I made the first pawn. So, and then the last thing you and I've been playing, speaking of jank,
yeah, no shit.
We decided after we finished Godfall to return to Saints Row, which you have not played Saints Row in a while.
But the original plan was to play that newest one,
which I have played. You have not.
I have not touched it. Yeah.
And I kept telling you, like, you need to just experience how bad the new one is.
Sure, and I got it for free, so why not?
Yeah, it was on Plus at some point. And I don't know, I was digging around on the store in one of these like spring sales, and Saints Row the Third Remastered was $5, and I think 4 was as well.
Mm-hmm. I think 4 was actually a little bit cheaper for some weird reason.
Yeah, it might have been a little bit cheaper. So I was like, fuck it, let's buy both, and we'll run through them and probably switch it up in between. Otherwise, it's gonna be a lot of Saints Row. But we've started Saints Row the Third Remastered, and I mean, as someone who played a lot of that game in the 360 era and 1000 that game back in the day, this seems way more like broken.
It's awful.
There are we've seen so many dumb things.
The first night you were like, it's not that broken. I don't know if it's necessarily like this bad, but then like as the more we play, like the worse it gets.
The worse. Like our car got stuck in a mission in a fence where you could not back it up.
No, but it was weird because if I held the trigger down to like accelerate and then let it go, it would like lurch forward, but it would hit the fence again,
right? Yeah,
even though it was inside the fence.
Weird.
That was a ridiculous one. There was one where we went to go start the mission and my character just couldn't move.
Couldn't move.
Like I'm clicking every button on the controller. My character would not move. We had to back out and start.
And then I killed you and then rezzed you and you still couldn't move.
It's not
like you weren't there. You were there, but you just couldn't do anything. There's just been a lot of stuff like weird explosions.
I don't know if this happens for you when we play, but it does for me. When there's the big like ogre enemies, like the big guys.
Yeah.
When you have to do that takedown move, does it actually show you the animations?
Sometimes, not every time.
It does not for me at all. I just stand there like I'm not moving, and then all of a sudden,
remember
the guy
the first time
we
fought one, he like got into a building he wasn't supposed to be in with us, and we got like trapped.
We were because I was shopping. Shoot. I was trying to buy clothes, and all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, and I backed out of it, and that dude's just in the store with us trying to fight us. Like it just, I don't know, man. Like I don't remember, and maybe it's just me looking back with rose-tinted glasses, but I don't remember that game being this janky 15 years ago, like at all. So it's got to be this remastered version. So I hope that when we get to 4, that this reelected version is better than this.
I hope so, unless they just cranked it out the same way they did this one.
I'm trying to remember. I would assume the remaster of 3 came before 4, but I don't know.
You would think so, but that's not always the case.
Well, I think we also mentioned like we might at this point we might as well do Get Out of Hell because I don't think either of us ever played that one. That was kind of my point with Saints Row, where I was like,
off of it I'm kind
of out. And then they made Agents of Mayhem, and then they obviously tried to reboot, and it didn't work. So, and now it's dead franchise.
Man, Agents of Mayhem too. I had so much like that's one of the first few games I have. Like I have the platinum for that game that not a lot of people do.
You can't get
and you can't get it anymore. But I really had high hopes for that game. But the minute they said it wasn't like truly multiplayer, it was like, well, this game is not going to be any fun.
Yeah.
And it wasn't any fun. So, oh well.
It's been a real glitch fest for this game. So
it's still a fun game. I forgot how long the tutorial like stuff is. It's almost the entire first third of the game.
It's almost the entire first act because we're close to the end of the second act now, and it is almost the first act. Is like they basically have you do one of each of the side missions as like a tutorial.
Yeah,
like the Professor Genki stuff, the insurance fraud, all that stuff. So
I forgot about the bad like racing because the cars don't control super great in this game.
You had forgotten that Hulk Hogan is a voice in the game.
I forgot that. Well, I forgot
it doesn't look like him.
It doesn't look like him at all. And you would think that they would have just been like, "Fuck it, make this guy look like Hulk Hogan." But
it's weird. Yeah, he doesn't look anything
close.
No.
Yeah.
And I kind of forgot about it too until he opened his mouth. I'm like, oh, that's right. They did totally get Hulk Hogan to voice this character in this game.
Mm-hmm.
I thought there was somebody else kind of famous that's in that game too, but
maybe
it's
later.
been a while.
We still have
maybe it's reelected
or third thing to go.
True. So we're like on the verge of doing all the cyber stuff because there's that game that has all the hacking stuff.
Right. That's the next thing we're doing.
That's kind of the next part of it. And then I think you do the Lucha people too. So we've kind of done a little bit of that. But again, I'll say it's still a great game. It's just this version of it for some reason is fucking
not
ridiculous.
Working. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's also important to note, like, at least what I downloaded and installed, this is a PS5 version of this game.
Yeah,
so
it is.
It's not a PS4 to PS5 version. So I don't know. We'll continue. We'll platinum it, but I can't really complain. It was $5. So
yeah, I'm not.
I didn't
like,
pay a lot of money
by any means. I'm just like
I would be more upset if we got to a point where like we literally couldn't continue. So
right. And
that would upset me.
You never know. We got plenty of game left for it to freak out and delete our saves.
Yeah, we haven't done any there, but I'll kick it over to you because, and I'll even set you up for it. You played something else recently that has a lot of jank.
Oh God, yeah, we'll start there then. So Vampire Survivors got that like surprise update / crossover with like the Saga series stuff.
And it's free, right?
Yeah, it's all free.
Okay.
But this DLC actually added trophies. So, I have to go back to get my 100% completion. And I have it platinum on PS4 and PS5. And the stuff doesn't pop, so I just did it twice. But the game's fun enough where I didn't have a problem doing it twice. The PS4 version, I will say the PS5 version, no problems of the DLC. PS4 version almost broke me.
Okay.
To a point where it crashed constantly. And I'm not talking like when you play the original game, when you get towards the end and stuff is going insane and you're killing everything on sight within a fraction of a second.
Yeah.
And it can't handle it. It would crash sometimes. This thing is crashing 2 minutes into a run where nothing's happening. This thing's crashing in the middle of finishing the level. So like a lot of times to finish the level, I would quit out of it. And then because I'm done with the objective or whatever, it'll crash there. Go back. That part's gone. At one point, I had to restart the DLC because it crashed at a bad time. It was a nightmare to finish, especially because a couple of them were like survive 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. When I would hit like when I hit the 30-minute thing the final time, I quit it as fast as I possibly could because I couldn't trust it. I can't even trust it to quit the DLC and not crash.
Yeah.
I mean, that being said, it's fun. It's just more Vampire Survivors. It adds a crazy new level where it's called the Coop, and there's a whole bunch of like chickens in it. And the mechanic in that is you can unlock a giant chicken to play as, and then get a fire weapon. And when you kill the chickens, it turns them into cooked chicken immediately. Okay. And then you eat them, and then you grow larger. Like that's the mechanic of that game, of that level. It was super fun. It was fun to play through them. Twice. You have to play through one of those like adventure things, which I get what they're going for with the adventure modes, but they don't really do anything. It's just kind of remixing the levels and limiting the weapons and characters you can use. It's fine. It gives you a reason to kind of like start over, but it is what it is. So yeah, now those are both back at 100%, which is good. Nice to see that done. The major thing I picked up and played was I finally picked up my copy of MLB The Show 25.
And platinum it.
And platinumed it because it's somehow even easier than years past. They gave up on making these trophies anything even close to challenging like they were 10 years ago. So I complain about this game every year for different reasons, but this is the first year where there's no PS4 version. There's no, I don't want to say like Xbox non-Series X version, like that doesn't exist. So it's finally, quote unquote next gen. No, it isn't. It looks like fucking identical. It still has all the same dumb problems. Yeah. It's still everybody looks the same. They haven't really changed anything about it. It's the same game again. The whole point of like me wanting them to dump last gen was that they would finally fucking like make this a next gen game. Not this year, maybe next year. Who knows? At this point, it doesn't seem like they care or have to care because I don't know. Like I told you too. This year, there's no even like middle. So like they would always do like collector's editions.
Yeah,
doesn't exist. And there's not even like a middle version. It was the only other version was digital deluxe. So even they're like punting on making physical copies of this game.
Yeah.
So. And that's another just strange choice. They added some like new modes and stuff for the Diamond Dynasty, like the card thing I play. They added this new like board game mode that's overly complicated for what it is, and I'll just pass on that. I'll never play that again after the tutorial part. The only positive thing I'll say is they tweaked Road to the Show again. Where how you level up, I feel, is a lot better now than it has been in years past. So that's a positive change. But again, I don't really play that mode anymore, so it doesn't really affect me.
Yeah.
Diamond Dynasty, the card mode, they changed it back where, how those games work, where it's like there's 99 level cards. The last couple of years, they've decided to do it in like waves, where like the first couple months of the season is wave 1 and there's a ton of 99s and then it restarts and restarts. They dumped that and kicked it back down to, well, the highest card you have at the start is probably going to be like an 85. I like this version better, but it just means there's more grinding to that you have to play the entire year to get anything good, as opposed to just a little bit of it. I guess that's fine. There's still other huge problems like UI problems. Here's a great example of something that pisses me off, and this will probably piss you off too. So when I want to go, let's say they do these things called programs, where it's like they want you to do certain things with certain players and all this kind of stuff, and you can unlock like higher versions of these players. So like they'll have like great examples. There's a Jackie Robinson program right now because it was just his like the anniversary of his debut and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense.
When you go in, you can do a couple that shows you like a tree of like this is how much XP you need. There's a bar and it'll show you rewards. And then it'll show you like the objectives down at the bottom. So some of them are like milestones and it'll be like replay this moment and get a home run or get 2 hits in this game or whatever. When you finish that moment, you would think it would just kick you back into the program where you were so you could go down and pick the next one to do.
Yeah.
Fuck you. It kicks you all the way out. So you have to go back in, pick the program, go back over here, go down, pick the next every single time. And some of these things only take a couple minutes if you're any good at the game. It's just poor UI design. Why would you? I'm clearly playing the program. Why would you kick me all the way out of the program every single time? This is something that's happened for years. No one who play tested this game thinks that's a problem. They think it's great to just kick you back to the main menu every time.
Okay.
Like it's just stupid. It's just stupid. Poor design. This game, like Madden, is a game that got lazy, like got very lazy. This game's pushing it, and you can see it because every single review was always like, 8, it's the same game. 8, it's the same game. 8, it's the same game. 8. Well, yeah, because it can't really be worse because it's just the same fucking game. But it's not getting better, and it never will.
It's just a slight update with the roster update.
Kind of. Like, stadiums look the same. They look... I couldn't tell you if anything on this game is graphically enhanced in any way.
If the average person was to walk in, could they tell that this is this year's and not last year's?
God, no.
Okay.
No way to tell.
Okay.
At this point, I feel like a lot of the stuff is just to throw a 25 where a 24 was, and they move on.
Probably.
And they update the rosters and all that kind of stuff.
Because they don't have to, yeah.
But there's no competition. Again, like, no one is ever going to make a baseball game again just because there's no... The amount of money it would take to make it won't get you your money back. It's not like college football where it just didn't exist for 10 years.
Yeah.
There is one that if somebody made a new one, they'd have to beat it, and it's never going to happen.
Yeah.
So, what about college baseball?
That existed in 2006 and 2007, but there's no fucking market for that.
No.
They added this year's added some stuff for Road to the Show where it's like you can play for a college baseball team. There's like 8 of them. You don't play anything remotely close to a season. You play like a couple games.
Yeah.
And depending on the college you pick, you get a boost for something for the draft. It's cool that stuff's in there. It's irrelevant. It means nothing. You can't just play as a college baseball team. It's nothing. So another one of those things where like I think they think it looks good on paper, but in practice it means nothing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's the same fucking game again. I'll play it all year, but I just and then you go online and you look at it, every complaint is it's the same game. It's the same game. It's the same game. And then they come out with these like developer videos. Look at what we really did. We tried to fix hitting and stuff. That's not the problem. The problem is not hitting. Hitting is fine. Pitching is fine. Base running's fine. Everything else is fine. It all works. It still looks like a game from 5 years ago. Just knock it the fuck off. So there's that. I did the Vampire Survivors. Really quick, just because I did it, is I finally finished Mortal Kombat 1 for the Platinum because the only thing that was holding me back was Master 5 Cameo Fighters, and that just took forever at the time when I was doing it. It's hard to believe that game came out like a year and a half ago, which is strange. But I was curious about it the other day and just looked, and I was like, maybe they did something to fix this. Well, they added a feature where if you have a character at level 35, which is considered like mastered in the game, you can buy mastery levels for other things. But you have to use premium currency. And
Of course.
mastery
Yeah.
level for a cameo is 500. So I was like, all right, let's see how much currency I have. And I went in, I had 1350. So I had already had one cameo mastered. I bought 2 more. I had
Okay.
another one that was almost done. And then in order to get, 200 more of this currency that I would need, I had to get my profile to level 80 and another character to level 20. So I just grinded that out, got it done, bought the thing, popped, gone, deleted
There you
it. I'm done with Mortal Kombat 1, thank God. Not that it's a terrible game, but it's
11 was a much better game.
yeah,
Like, without question.
It's not even close. And I don't know that I would want another one anytime soon because I don't know what it would be.
I mean, it's been a year and a half. I feel like we got another year and a half until we see another Mortal Kombat.
I think that'd be
So-
okay.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
feel
it would
it's
have
way
to be.
too early. Plus, like, this fall we're getting the movie, so they'll ride the hype of that movie. And what I would think, I don't know, because at the same time, like, NetherRealm has been really good about not announcing Mortal Kombat until it is pretty much ready to go, like within 3-4 months. So I don't know. I don't think that you would think maybe they would want to rush it into maybe next fall. But I don't know if we see another one that soon or not.
Well, who knows
So,
what that company's even up to anymore
Yeah.
at this point.
But it is a little weird that they're going to throw out, that movie this fall without any other. I guess you don't need to have a game to hype up.
I
the
don't think you
movie,
do anymore. I think in the
So.
past, I felt like that was true where it would make sense to line up stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think that matters anymore because
Yeah.
they're so wildly
Well-
different from each other, especially the movie. Like, it's based
The
off of
movie-
this other random dude that you don't
I was
know.
gonna say the main sin of that movie is making up a character and then having the movie follow that made up character.
Yeah,
it's
making
dumb.
him the center plot point when you already have
The other
a
stuff
roster
wasn't
of like
bad. Like
30
especially
people.
the fights between Scorpion and Sub-Zero in that movie were really good.
Yeah.
And like the storytelling behind that was really good. So it wasn't a bad movie, but I'm interested to see a sequel to it. So it'll be interesting. So, but I do too. So I'm I'll grab mine in a minute here, but I'll let you go first. You and I have pickups from the convention.
Yeah, so we went to MCC and I got some stuff and I figured we'd just show it off. And
Yeah, why don't you go first? I'll
nothing,
grab mine.
nothing super fancy, but I got some interesting stuff. I'll start with there's some guy had like import Game Boy games, so I always like to look through that stuff just to see if there's anything like I'm interested in. So I can barely see it. Star Ocean for Game Boy Color. Like I didn't even know what the games were because I was just kind of poking through it for random stuff. And he's like, well, everybody always just kind of buys the Pokemon and those are the only ones I know. So I just kind of have a bag full of this stuff. And I was like, okay. So I just kind of dug through the bag and I found this. It didn't have a price on it. I was like, what do you want for the guy's like, I don't even know what that is. I was like, $10? He's like, sure. Okay, cool. So there's that.
It's a
I got
good one.
Couple Nintendo games, just stuff I saw that, was on a list of stuff I want for whatever reason. Tiny Toon Adventures 2.
That's the good stuff.
I don't know if I've ever played that one. I know I played the first one. I got Go-Go 13, which is a game I didn't realize it didn't have this top secret episode. This is actually a really good game. For whatever reason, I didn't have it. Some PS4 stuff that just caught my eye. I finally got my copy of LA Noire.
Oh, nice.
I did start playing this again just because I've been
that's
wanting
good.
to play this for a while. I got both of these because they were cheap and they were just kind of like I don't own them, so I got the Dragon
I was
Quest
surprised
Heroes
you didn't have those.
and Dragon Quest Heroes 2. This one's
Oh.
sealed, but yeah, for whatever
They're
reason
good.
I didn't have them.
I would recommend not playing them back to back.
No, I played the first one. I played
Okay.
about half of it.
It's
'Cause I think it
very
was
good.
on PlayStation Extra or something at one point, so I
Probably
did that.
was at one point. Yeah.
I got some PS5 games. These weren't from MGC, but this is stuff that like Kyle helped me pick up, and then of course we talked about it for a long time. I got the deal.
Oh, we both have that. Yeah.
I got your copy of 2.
Ooh.
I've played maybe 20 minutes of it, so I can't tell you anything.
I've
about
installed it, but I have not
Yeah,
played
that's
it.
about
yet.
it. Octopath Traveler 2 finally got because Kyle
Yeah.
got that for me. And then the gem that's coming up for us, Killer Clowns
That-
for
wow.
PS5.
Yeah, that was I'm excited for us to play that. That was one day I looked on Woot. It was $10, and I said that's the right price to play Killer Clowns from outer
Yeah,
space.
I'm not gonna bother to pay anything more than that.
for
a
that
game that
type
would
of
just
game.
really be on the shelf.
Yeah.
And then the last 4 games are all PS2 games that I didn't have, but are just like cool, random one-off things I don't think you really find a ton of. La Pucelle Tactics, which is just
That's
like,
pretty cool.
PS2 went through that era where like they were making shitloads of tactical RPGs, like Disgaea and Grow Lancer and all that kind of stuff. I got Neo Contra, which is a cool one.
That's a cool one.
I don't know if it's
when
any
that
good.
came out.
Probably not.
You never played that one?
I don't know if I played that one. Maybe I did. I got Ark the Lad, End of Darkness.
That's cool.
Yeah, these are cool games too. This game has 4v4 online deathmatch. Should we get out some PS2 and some network adapters, see if it works?
Hit up those, yeah.
I wonder if it's server side or local. And then this last one was pretty cool that I found was Metal Slug, 4 and 5. What's cool about this is you would think it would just be on one disc. It's
on
not.
2, 4, and 5.
Super weird.
Interesting. It's like a double pack.
Yeah. I like Metal Slug games a lot too, so I saw that and just thought it would be fun. And then I got my F-Zero GX strategy guide. Finally.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
That's good.
I collect strategy guides, and this is just, official Nintendo Power one, so sure, why not?
Well, last year was the year we went and like nobody had Dreamcast shit. Literally no one had anything Dreamcast. This year there was more Dreamcast stuff. It wasn't like crazy. I didn't see it at every table, but there was Dreamcast stuff there. So the table that I got, the Dreamcast stuff that I bought at, I watched a guy in front of me drop $700 on Dreamcast games. And then right after it, I was like, what will you do? Or I think I asked the guy if he would do 30 on these, but I got, which he did, which is, I got for Dreamcast both Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2.
Hell yeah.
So, and then at a different booth, I got, this is actually originally how I played this game too, Dave Mira, Freestyle BMX, the first one. So I gotta load up the Dreamcast. I want to stream those games, but the problem is if I stream them, I gotta mute the music, and that's the best part of those games.
Right.
So
that is.
Then the other stuff I got was kind of some random stuff. I didn't go. My goal this year was to, and I did it perfectly too, was to not spend more than $20 on a game. And I thought that was a fun challenge to go into because like I don't like going and taking a certain amount of money and then blowing it all on like 2 things. So.
Right. Makes sense.
And I got stuff that's filler stuff I needed for my collection, but I got Call of Juarez Bound in Blood, which I guess is backwards compatible. I did see the second one, but unfortunately it was at the booth you and I were talking about that had a lot of sun faded stuff.
Yeah.
So I didn't get it, but I got the first one, which is 99 Nights. I don't have either of them. Now I have that one. And then Singularity for the 360. And then in my, continued quest to, I guess, get every copy of Tony Hawk for everything, I got Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 for the original Xbox. And then the last thing I got was a Xbox copy of Batman Vengeance, which I've never played this version. I played through it on the GameCube. And I can tell you, even back in the day, the GameCube version of that game had some frame rate issues. So I'm curious to see if the Xbox version plays better. So I would, and that's the thing, like, so the booth that I'm talking about, like, it was 2 dudes that bought a rental store and just liquidated everything. The problem is, because it was a rental store, a lot of stuff was sun faded.
Quality was all over the place.
It was all over the place. Like, you might find, like, they probably had like 5 or 6 copies of 99 Nights, but you had to look for the good one.
Yep.
Because there'd be like 3 that are sun faded, or there'd be one that would clearly have the circle ring on it because it's a 360 game. You're like, nah, we're not doing that.
Yeah,
or clearly resurfaced. You
could tell they really didn't look at anything in terms of quality. They just threw everything in a box.
I think those dudes, they inventoried everything, see what it was worth, made their prices, and went to town. They were also one of the only booths that was not willing to do any deals the first day. They literally would tell everybody, like, we're not doing any deals today. We'll do them tomorrow. So I am a little bummed because I only looked at 360 stuff there, but they probably had shit for everything.
They did.
I didn't get a chance to get back there.
They had boxed 64 Super Nintendo stuff, but after having seen the quality of all the stuff that was around it, I'm not going to take a flyer on these guys for boxed cartridge
Yeah,
games.
that was
Yeah.
kind of my thing. Was like 360. Like I spent some time looking through everything that they had for 360. And of course, the big thing that I'm looking for that is both a super common game, but going to be incredibly hard to find, is a complete in-box copy of Pro Evolution Soccer 2011. They did not have. If anyone was going to have it at this show, it would have been these people, because of the rental store nature of what they had. But they did not have it. So, but still, it was a good year. It was it was way busier than I feel it was last year. There was a lot more people this year.
Yeah, it's only getting bigger.
More. It's only getting big. Yeah, I think we also took time this year to walk through like the pinball stuff and all that. I don't think we did that last year.
That part didn't seem as big this year.
No, it
felt
didn't.
More empty, and like stuff was missing.
It also was really easy to like get on a table or something and play something. Like it didn't really seem like there were a lot of lines where like in previous year, I feel like previous times we've been there have been lines and stuff for that. So, but yeah, overall, I mean, it was a good show this year. So a lot of stuff, still a lot of fun to go to that thing. But I had good. We both walked away with some good pickups.
Yeah, you guys got some cool stuff, man.
I was happy. I walked out with some Dreamcast stuff.
Yeah,
I found
that
stuff.
one booth, that one where I got all these PS2 games is where I found that Dreamcast stuff. Those guys actually had a bunch, and the prices weren't bad. Like
I think that's where I got the Dave Mira, and then the other table was the one I just randomly was looking at, where, like I said, the guy in front of me dropped $700. But to be fair, I mean, these were pretty hard to find Dreamcast games, and they were in very good condition.
Yeah, I saw multiple copies of like Cannon Spike and all that stuff around. Yeah, those 4 PS2 games, I think I only paid like 20 a piece for those.
It's not bad.
Well, they're all they're all complete and they're all in really good shape. And the guy had a lot of other PS2 stuff I would have considered too, but I was like, I should probably cut myself off.
Yeah, we also got some other cool stuff. I mean, we got those cool magnets and stuff, but I'm not going to go rip those off my fridge now.
Yeah, those are...
I got a cool, like last year I got that bigger Castlevania sign. This year I got a keychain version of it, which is cool, but they had cool stuff like that.
There were guys there that already had, and it's funny because like on Reddit, I saw other people who went to the show and they bought these things, and I don't know why, but they'd already like 3D printed large versions of the Switch 2 cartridges.
Yeah.
Like the big red things, but the stickers on them were like this shitty holographic type. And they just looked bad and like just bad quality.
They did not look good. Like,
I get the novelty
the printing
of it.
part of it looked good, but not the hologram.
Yeah, the sticker part, like you like put a little bit more effort into that.
Yeah.
So I just thought it was fine because I talked to the guy for a little bit. I was like, "Man, you guys cranked these out super fast." And he's like, "Yeah, we got the specs that day, and we just we turned the machine on." Like, I get it, man.
We went. It was the Saturday after, so that thing was announced on that Wednesday, and it was Saturday after. They had to have turned that shit around.
Well, because I'm sure
really
they've made.
fast.
The thing is, I'm sure they've made Switch carts of ones.
Oh yeah.
So all they had to do was make sure that they looked the same and put a red one in instead of black, and then get these stickers printed. But
yeah,
the stickers were really shit quality.
They looked weird.
I saw one of the keychain ones where they clearly had put a sticker on it and then wanted to make it a different game and just put another one over it.
Ooh,
and you could see like another one below.
Damn,
that's 10 seconds, guys. Like, come on.
that's weird.
Yeah,
that's too much work right there. Taking 10 seconds
to crank it out, but people were buying them, so whatever.
No, it was.
You know what I didn't see a ton of this year? Not a lot of people buying the dumbass mystery boxes.
No, I remember last year when we went, the line for that was insane. And what was the thing they were giving out? Was it a
Switch.
PS5 or a Switch or something?
Was in one.
I told you what would have got people this year is if they said, "Oh, the one box in here has a Switch too."
Yeah,
would have got
put a
people.
voucher in it or something like.
Yeah,
you won. You won. Contact us. You'll get one. You could
or something.
People would have bought the boxes like crazy for that. No question.
For sure.
Yeah, I don't know if that fad just died in between years or something, but
we've talked about it ad nauseum.
It seems like garbage. It's a scam.
Oh God! Yeah.
And when I mean, last year when we saw people, we were walking away with multiple of those boxes. It wasn't just one, 2, 3,
and it's all
4.
Just clearance stuff from like Walmart, GameStop, and stuff that these guys go buy in bulk. Where they go on Temu and type in Nintendo.
How much of that stuff in the box this year do you think was like Captain America shit from Walmart? Because that movie bombed. Yeah, It's probably a lot of that.
Garfield the movie toys.
There you go.
Yeah.
But there was this year. I feel like that wasn't really a thing compared to last year.
I didn't see. Obviously some people were buying them, but the booth was there and it had a ton of them. But I did not see a ton of people walking around.
No,
like last year.
Absolutely. The only other thing that I got at one of the, I mean, my girlfriend got some stuff that was more horror movie related, but there was one booth we went to. And they had other game stuff, and I was actually looking at a Gundam thing there, but this guy had this really cool, like, throw blanket I've never seen before with all the horror movie people, like Jason, Freddy, Jigsaw, like, everybody's on this thing, except for the Terrifier clown.
Oh, of course.
Because it's an older blanket. And I laughed because I thought the guy was just, like, displaying it for what... He clearly was not, like, trying to sell it, but I kind of looked at it, and I jokingly just said to the guy, I'm like, how much for the blanket? He's like, how much you offering? And I was like, I don't know, like $20. Yeah, I'll sell it for that. And he just sold it to us. So we have that. It's upstairs. It looks cool as hell. So it's just gonna go up there with that other horror stuff because my girlfriend made like a corner of our upstairs a horror themed area. So she bought which she still keeps naming it wrong, but like if you ever seen the movie Critters, the little critter character, She keeps calling it a creeper, but it's a critter. We bought one of those. That's hanging out on there. There was a lady that was selling in jars like that had different colors, the face hugger from
that's cool.
Alien, and I think they also were doing like the Resident Evil virus jars, which I already have one of those, but we bought one of those too. That's on that shelf. But that horror blanket, it was funny to me because that guy totally wasn't trying to sell that, and he's just like, how much? Like $20 sold. Okay, cool.
Hey.
So we brought that home. That thing's cool, but yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah,
so
always is.
We'll kick over to you, Matt. What have you been playing?
I've been kind of boring, honestly. I've been running some more WWE 2K25, just kind of playing around. Like, not really doing anything crazy. I haven't dived more into the faction. I haven't dived into the faction stuff. I haven't done any more of the actual storyline. I've just been playing random matches here and there just to kind of play around to see what I can mess with. I got more into the chain wrestling aspect of it, which is, like I said last time I talked about it, I thought it's really good. And something I kind of noticed today that I might have to go back and see if they did it on 24. But, like, you know how WWE has those, like, TV screens on a lot of, like, on the sides of the rings and stuff like that? Well, now, apparently, like, when you ram somebody into it, they, like, crack. And they, like, kind of, like, get staticky.
That's
kind of
I don't remember that happening in 24.
And I can't remember off the top of my head if they did. So I feel like I'm gonna have to go back and run 24 real quick just to see if it's a thing they did. But it's gotten like it looked really good when I saw it, and I was like, oh man, I never noticed that small detail. But yeah, I did start Atomfall as well. I'm literally out of the tutorial, and I haven't really I feel the same way. I haven't really clicked with it.
Like I got a little bit further than the tutorial. I got to like. You get to the first town, and then in that first town, they tell you you have to go talk to this lady and like barter with her to get a key to go into this tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did that, and then I went in the tunnel, and then I got attacked by a bunch of things, and that's where I left it because I was like, I don't know if I care for this. So I don't know. It seems fine. Like it's made by the people that make the Sniper Elite games.
Yeah,
which is kind of interesting.
Yeah,
you can kind of tell it has that level of polish to it. And maybe at some point I'll give it another chance, but like for me it was very much a like Game Pass like try and maybe I'll play it again later, but it didn't grab my attention.
I don't think that game's probably been selling super well either, right?
So I didn't put in the news, but I read today that they were very happy with how it's done on Game Pass. So I don't think it is like I don't know. I have not seen a single person play it on my friends list on PlayStation.
Basically, my question is: do you think that game will be $20 soon?
Absolutely.
That's what
by midsummer it'll be a $29.
Keep an eye out. I want it for $20.
Okay. I'll watch the Woot.
The Woot. And then I jumped on Marvel Snap again.
Okay.
The last time I played was on my phone. So I decided to download it on Steam and just kind of run it there. I've been kind of getting into it, man. Like it's just something super quick, something super simple to kind of play around with, and like It's not horrible.
It's funny, man. I was just talking to a friend of mine about that today, about how
Oh yeah,
I've been thinking about going back, but I'm worried that because I played it a ton when it came out. I'm worried that all of the mechanics and stuff I remember don't exist anymore with all the new cards and everything. So I'd have to relearn, whatever the meta is and rebuild decks and all that stuff. But
yeah, and I mean, I believe it is. It's changed a little from the last time. Like something they're running right now. I think it's like the Sanctum mode, something like that. But you know how you have 6 rounds in the normal game. This one is only 3.
Oh, interesting.
And you know how like in the normal game you start off with 1 power, then it goes to 2 power, and eventually by the 6 you're at 6.
Sure.
This one kind of goes random. So at the very beginning you can start with a power level of 4.
Interesting.
And it can add 4 more to that. And then it can add 5 more to that. So like the power levels go between 2 and 5 as to what could be added per each time.
Interesting. Okay.
It's actually I think I like that mode more than the normal mode.
Well, yeah, that would make it faster paced, but you're still able to play like high level cards.
Oh gosh,
and
yeah.
If it's adding that much power to like the 3rd round, you could be playing multiple 6s.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
I think the highest I've gotten to power level rise was 12.
Shit, man, that's nuts.
Isn't it crazy? Yeah, like now that you're thinking
it to work, yeah.
But yeah, it's been interesting picking it up. Like I said, I honestly, before you jumped on, Kyle, I was running I ran like 4 or 5 matches of that before you jumped on. I was like, well, he's got a moment. Let me go ahead and just run some of this while I'm not doing anything.
There you go.
But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I like that one. And then I downloaded the demo for Card Dealer Simulator.
So I believe that one is made by the same people that make Laundry Store Simulator.
It's actually pretty cool.
Okay.
So you start off in this really shitty car dealership.
Okay.
But like you get to drive to pick up your inventory. So you essentially go on your office computer and you have to like buy cars. And once you buy the car, you have to drive the tow truck to go pick it up. And you can even when you bring it back to your location, you can work on the car itself. You can wash it, clean it, make it look polished and all that jazz.
Maybe I will check it out now.
It's not so doing the thing I've been doing this year. I've only bought 1 game so far this year.
Yeah.
And I've been running a lot of demos to kind of just see how things kind of catch me.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think that might be one I might have to put on my wish list of stuff that I need to look into because it's a lot of fun. I've actually the demo's not very long, but it was entertaining from what I got of it. And another thing I didn't put on here that I just honestly thought about when I said about running demos, I started Sea of Stars.
Okay.
I am not very far into it.
Sure.
I am literally on the first boss, the worm thing.
You're not even fucking anywhere. That game is huge.
Nope. No, I already can tell you I'm not that far, but that worm guy has pissed me off a couple of times, so I had to stop and put it down for a sec. But I like the so far the story I've gotten into it so far. I'm digging it, so I think I might kind of try and pick it back up. It's just I might be getting a Switch, like a regular Switch, here in the next week or so. So I'm debating on, do I continue playing it on Xbox or do I just pull open my copy on Switch and then play it on the Switch?
Yeah.
So it's just kind of where do I pick up and where do I start? So
yeah,
we'll see what happens.
I think I would think that game would probably play perfectly fine on a Switch.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not a demanding game.
Oh yeah, not at all.
That game is so fucking good too. That DLC stuff still isn't out for it yet, right?
No,
I don't think so.
It's supposed to be sometime this year.
Because I don't own a physical copy of it. I'm waiting for them to
wait for a complete version.
Edition
that's what I'm doing.
And then
I'll
probably fucking just play it again. I don't know. That game is so good.
Yeah. I remember you saying that, and I went ahead and picked it up because I think I found it at Best Buy, the physical copy for $20, and I was like, well, I'm just gonna go ahead and grab it because I just wanted to grab it.
Yeah,
so.
no, awesome game.
But yeah, so far so good. I mean, we can go in from there.
Okay, well, we can kick over to news. So obviously, I mean, the big thing that happened, we did kind of a little mini episode about the Switch 2 has been announced. The big thing that happened in between is we had the whole tariff thing. I think when we recorded, we were able to talk about like the pre-orders were going to go live, then they got pulled.
Yeah. Right.
They have now since, and that's kind of our breaking news for this episode, is they have now since revealed that the pre-orders are going to go live on April 24th. And the price of the console is going to remain the same, but all the accessories are going up. I believe pretty much all of them are like $5 more, except for the dock.
It's anywhere from like 5 to 10. So like,
yeah,
the Pro controller went up to
AMIIBOS.
85. I'll get to that in a minute.
Okay.
The Joy-Cons went up to 95, which is insane.
Mm-hmm.
The charging grip thing went up to 40. The straps. This is the dumbest thing. The straps. So remember we were talking about last time, Matt, like, are they going to have things that go on it?
Right.
There are like two really thin things.
Okay.
Those went from $12.99 to $13.99 because Nintendo can't eat that fucking dollar on an accessory pair of straps. The wheel sets went up $5. Don't buy wheels. The camera went up to $55. So your shitty camera now costs more.
Yeah.
The dock went up $10, which an extra dock is a luxury item. You don't necessarily need one, but $120 for an additional dock, that's an easy pass.
Yeah.
Carrying case and screen protector went up $5. Don't worry, some third-party company is going to make a shitload of carrying cases for this thing for half the price.
And the other thing, I wouldn't buy the official Nintendo screen protector anyways.
No.
They're going to be third-party ones that are
better glass, stuff like that. If you really want one, buy the tempered glass ones. Those are the best ones.
As someone who's probably had the same piece of tempered glass on his for 8 years, that was not a first-party Nintendo.
No, thing. That was the one thing we always told people: like, if you're buying one thing, if you're playing it in handheld, buy this. Like, for your own sake, just buy this thing. And actually, it even worked if you're going to dock it all the time, because remember, the dock would sit too close to it.
Yes.
So you could maybe scratch it that way. All-in-one carrying case, $85. Don't buy an all-in-one carrying case from Nintendo for $85. Get it back.
Please don't.
The AC adapter goes up fucking $5. Like,
of course.
Just like Nintendo, the company that has zero debt, can't eat any of this.
Not at all.
Not even $1 on some fucking straps.
It's ridiculous.
And then the
those straps cost a lot.
And then the Amiibos, according to GameStop's website, is the only one who's updated them. They all went up $10. These Street Fighter Amiibo are now listed for $40 a piece. I was into them before. You can fuck right off for $40 a piece for Street Fighter Amiibo. That's ridiculous. The Zelda ones are all like $30. I might do those just because I have every other fucking Zelda Amiibo, but I don't need Street Fighter Amiibos for $40. And guess what? Yeah. Since no one's going to buy them, they'll go down in price.
Absolutely.
The Zelda ones will sell just because they do.
They will because they're Zelda.
But $40
on the back of that, the Switch 2 tutorial game, the Welcome Tour, which they showed during the Direct, and stated during the Direct that it would cost money. The cost for that has been revealed to be $10. Again, this should be a pack-in with your system.
Kyle, people worked really hard on the tech demo for this.
You don't think
system.
people worked really hard on that Astrobot thing that came out with every PS5?
No, I don't think they did.
Like, that's just a celebration of Sony.
It's insane to me. My favorite thing about that whole thing was right after it got announced that it wouldn't be free, was Reggie just tweeting those stories about how he fought to make Wii Sports included and how he fought to include a remote with Wii Play and all that stuff. And like basically just the greatest hits of everything he ever did right for that company. And how it's the exact opposite of everything they're doing now.
It is, absolutely. You had thrown this in here about the Rune Factory.
This is bad because this sets a bad precedent, because
it does.
We talked about it the last episode about were these carts going to be different or not? What's going to prevent you from putting a Switch 2 cart into a Switch 1? What happens if you do? And then it came out a little bit after that, I think like last week, where it turns out the back of the carts actually are different and they have like a weird kind of like loop cut in them. So I thought, oh, maybe that's what'll do it. Nah, because now this new Rune Factory game, you can just put the Switch 2 card in your Switch 1 and the Switch 1 version of the game plays.
Okay.
The fuck are we doing?
That's dumb.
What? I mean, I guess from their standpoint, I get that they wouldn't want to print maybe 2 copies of this. But why not just print a Switch 1 copy?
Yeah.
And put it in the fucking... And put it in a case that was... The cases need to say, like, compatible with Switch 1 and 2 if they're going to do this.
Yeah, it does.
Because this is just going to be confusing. Is this going to come in a Switch 2 case?
And how many other games are going to follow this pattern?
And again, if they're going to do it, that means it's... And them doing it means it's possible. It's not necessarily that other people are going to do it, but it's possible. They're
100%.
proving that it works. But what's the case going to look like?
Yeah.
It's just... We're fucking this message up more and more and more as it goes on. And... Like, I just, and they just, the thing is like, they clearly just don't care because they know it doesn't matter. None of this matters.
Not at all.
And I'm gonna bump it up here with all the other Switch stuff, but I had to put this in here because this broke a couple hours ago, which we're gonna put as the GameStop dumbass move of the week. Which is, so they not only announced, obviously they're going to be participating in the pre-orders and stuff, but they're going to offer people a Switch to Switch 2 transfer, including the midnight releases that they're going to have for the system, which will be midnight on the East Coast, 11 o'clock
right.
Central, and so on. But this is very, very bad because it's not going to work. It's
a lot,
Nintendo, and it's just, I cannot see this being a good thing.
Not at all.
There's a lot of things that are going to make this bad. And number one is, I get where they're coming from to tell you that April 24th is when stuff's going to be available. Mm-hmm. It's going to be available on the website, which, pro tip, don't even fucking waste your time.
Don't waste your
time trying to buy a Switch 2 on the website. Don't even bother. Because it's not going to happen for most people. Or, you know, you're going to be able to go to your GameStop at 11 a.m. when they open and reserve one. I got some terrible news from you from an inside source. They still don't know allocations. They've been told they might know them on the 23rd. You may know that as the day fucking before. And
are you telling me that rumor that every store is going to get 100 is not real?
I saw that thing going around. I laughed.
There's no
I told you immediately,
way.
Like 100, please.
There's no fucking way.
No, because well, here's how this is going to run. You're gonna roll up to your GameStop at 10:30, and you're gonna be the 50th person in line.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you're going to reserve it, or what, you know, when they get, well, let's be optimistic, right? Let's say 30. 30 seems like it's possible.
I think that's high,
but it's possible, right?
It's possible. I would say.
Hey man, they just closed a shitload of stores, so maybe the application got sent to everybody else.
That is the only reason why that would be possible.
Also,
I would cut that in half.
Also, not every store is getting 30.
No,
big tier stores, 100, 200. Your store, where it's the only one within 50 miles of civilization, is getting 5, maybe.
Yeah.
So when you roll up and you see the lines 50 deep, you could probably get back in your car and go home. That's another pro tip for it.
I would say another pro tip, because we did this. I remember doing this with the Switch, and we probably did it with PS4 and Xbox One. The PS4 and Xbox One was different because they kept turning those on and off,
That was a bad one, yeah.
The Switch, though, I remember we put a sign, I think, in the door that said, like, this is the allocation amount we will have.
Yeah, because remember there were the two versions. So we were like, we didn't get very many. It was like 8 and 5 or something. It wasn't a lot.
Something like that. Well, yeah, because there was like 8 with the colored Joy-Cons and then 5 with the black.
Well, and here's the other industry secret. Employees are already planning to reserve them before the doors are open.
Yeah,
so
that's how that always works.
We'll take whatever number you think they're getting.
Subtract 3 to 4.
or in some cases, 5, 6, 7, 8, if they're trying to get them for other people who don't work there.
Exactly.
Because guess what? That's happening too.
Absolutely.
I'm just trying to be realistic about what you should expect if you've never been through this before. Like you said, when we did the thing and we had 8 and 5, we actually had like 12 and 6 because I got one, you got one. Other people we knew got some. And yes, those were reserved before the doors were open. Oops.
Literally 2 minutes before the doors open.
Let's say this is me and I'm still running to my store. And let's say I get 30. all right, I've got to get one for you and 5 other people, right? So I put a thing on the door that says 24. And then before we open, I open the door and I go, I will have 24. And it is one per household.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Because not only are you competing for them, but scalpers are competing for them too, man.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to go, me and Kyle and Kyle's girlfriend and then my buddy, we're all going to get in line, pretend we don't know each other and buy the first 5 with no warranties, no games, no controllers, no nothing. And we're going to go home and put them all on the same eBay account. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So you have to try to, like, we tried to play defense as much as we could.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I don't really give a shit. But, but the problem is like, hardware attach is going to be the thing. They're going to hound you for warranties. They're going to hound you for game warranties.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas, now that half of these games are going to be game key cards, can you really warranty a game? But it's going to be a shit show. The lines are going to be down the block wherever they are because everybody's going to assume they're going to be able to get one. You're not. I pray that GameStop managers will be smart enough. Even if GameStop corporate says don't put a sign on your door with the number, go fuck yourself. I'm putting a sign on the door with the number on it. You're crazy.
I feel like that's probably something they would say to not do. To be fair,
no, but remember in the past they would let us do it. They even gave us like printouts to fill in the number and hang on the door.
Yeah.
But that was when it was run by someone who's
they
not
did
an
that
insane
also a lot with like
person.
AMIIBOS when the AMIIBOS were a big deal.
Yeah, that was a big deal. But this man, all he cares about is dog food and letting TikTokers make fun of his employees. So what does he give a shit about what you do?
Well,
it's gonna be a shit show. And then here's the other thing I was talking about with my contact. When this wave is gone, within 5-10 minutes, whatever, the next couple waves aren't gonna be you can walk in and buy a Switch.
No.
They're going to be, it's online only or web in store, and it's $800. And it's a system, a warranty, 2 games, and blah, 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 and blah,
Probably
blah, blah.
another controller.
No discount of any kind. It's just these numbers added together.
Mm-hmm.
But when this initial wave sells out and does not have any attach on it, outside of maybe a controller, maybe Donkey Kong, right?
Mm-hmm.
When they don't sell I think the warranties are $60 for it. I think it's like 60 and 75 or 75 and not. You know what? Hang on. I can tell you what it is. 55 and 75 for 1 year, 2 year warranty for the Mario Kart bundle. When they don't sell those, and when the warranty attach on the system is 10% at best, every single bundle after comes with one.
Oh, absolutely.
When they don't sell a controller with everyone, or they don't sell a pair of straps with everything, every bundle comes with one.
Or the case.
So you're talking $500, $550. Though they won't throw in Donkey Kong because they would make you buy Donkey Kong separate, but they would pick another Switch 2 game. Street Fighter would be a perfect one for them to force you to buy with it because there's going to be a lot of copies of that, but nobody's going to buy it.
There will be. Yeah.
So we're talking, you're going to go in there and like 2 weeks later, when do you guys get more Switches? Well, we're not going to have any individuals, but you can buy a bundle for $850. And guess what? None of it's returnable because it's a single SKU in the system. And if you return one thing, you return all of it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a damned if you do, you're fucked if you don't kind of a thing for getting these Switch reserves.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not going to be good, but like, to go back on the transfer thing.
Oh yeah,
like,
and that doubles down on the worst part.
That is going to be terrible because like Nintendo already had like I just go back to the 3DS and like every transfer process for that system from regular to XL to the new 3DS XL was terrible and took forever.
Everyone would want to do it in our store, and we're like, you're more than welcome to. Our Wi-Fi is very bad.
That's the other. It's dependent on the Wi-Fi in whatever store you're going to. Now, obviously, that's probably been improved in some stores since you and I worked there. But
you would hope so.
It's not going to be everywhere.
But it's
you think the store out in the middle of nowhere is going to be having great Wi-Fi to do that transfer? Probably not.
It's going to create one hell of a logjam for pickups at midnight.
It's going to be bad.
The hope you would have would be
nobody goes to midnight.
No. My thought would be the only real way to do this would be like you buy the system you take it home, you come back with your receipt within a week and trade in your thing, and we can refund you the difference or something like that.
That would be the smart way to do it.
That's the smartest possible way to do it. Because then you're banking on people forgetting or just not doing it, or they don't have the time to do it.
Yeah.
Anything like that. But then it cuts out everybody trying to do it in the fucking store.
But that also, you're also hoping that GameStop would be a smart company that would make such a decision. They're not a smart company that would make such a decision.
It's hoping that they would care enough to do that. They don't.
They fucking don't care.
No. I just think like that would solve a lot of problems, because here's the other problem. How charged are the Switch 2s going to be out of the box? Are they going to be charged enough?
I don't know.
To do a system transfer. You can't even move your SD card over. You can't use your SD card in here. You're going to have to do that at home anyway.
Yeah.
There's so many things that are not like, at least you can do it, but it doesn't feel like it's going to be as easy as a DS was.
It doesn't. I don't know. I still have to look and see. I'm curious to see what the transfer process will be. But I told you, like, even if I were to get a reserve and wanted to do that transfer process, I would not put the GameStop person through it, and I wouldn't like. I will eat the trade-in bonus.
There are going to be a lot of people who want to trade in at the same time they're buying that system,
Absolutely.
and it's going to create an awful logjam at midnight to do this.
Because I like, again, like midnights are not a thing anymore, but this is something that people will show up for midnight to get this system.
You might as well do it. And to be fair,
they were smart. They're doing it in the summer.
To be fair, it'll clear out a lot of the pain in the ass problems from the next day.
It will.
But
that's for sure.
It's still going to be a very bad couple days for these people.
It's going to be a bad weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry for all you people.
It's going to be a bad weekend.
And then it'll be bad weeks after.
We did not get any write-ins about it yet, but I feel like the next time we record, we will have some write-ins about this transfer thing.
Oh, for sure.
So, but to get off of the Switch 2 news, this was something that broke. It probably broke like literally the day after we last recorded. Tony Hawk has stood up and demanded that Bam Margera be put into Tony Hawk's 3 and 4 remastered, which is awesome. So Bam will be in the game. He's like, you and I have talked about it many times, but like he has been clean and sober for 2 years.
Right.
So
well, like I understood both sides of it when they said that he wasn't going to be in it. I understand. But it's cool to see him stood up for in this case. And like, I mean, I don't know how much you follow the current escapades of Bam, but he has probably been skateboarding more in the last 2 years than he has in a long time. Mm-hmm. So it makes sense to put him in the game. So I just wonder, like, because you go to the remaster of 1 and 2, like that was those dudes today. So you think they're scanning in Bam Margera as he is today? I think that'd be kind of fun if they did. I want that.
I kind of want that. Yeah. Like I kind of want that. So super, super awesome to see that though. Mike Ibarra, you remember him as the he worked for Xbox, he left and went to Blizzard. And then when Microsoft bought Blizzard, he mysteriously just stopped working for Blizzard. So, which I thought was funny because he clearly had something that happened at Microsoft and he left. And then when they bought, like they clearly didn't want anything to do with him again. He left again. But he's also the person that famously made the dumbass comment, like probably this time a year ago about the tips. Mm-hmm. Remember that?
Yeah.
He's doubled down on just throwing shade at the Switch 2, you know, saying things like it's a hard pass and stuff. I mean, but like, it's not as shady to say that because of all the bullshit surrounding the system. So yeah, it's funny that it's coming from him, who, you know, is a developer, but at the same time, I understand why somebody would pass on the Switch 2 right now. So like you both are. I'm not. You both are.
Someone who buys almost everything. I have significantly slowed down, and like this just is not doing it for me at all.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you on the sense of like if you look at it strictly game wise, it's just Mario Kart. Yeah, there isn't any.
The Donkey Kong game looks cool, but I'm not enough for me to buy the system.
Not a day one thing. Like you couldn't even put like a Mario Odyssey 2 tease or like something in there. Like we still don't have a date for Metroid Prime 4. Like it's just weird. And then the only other thing you're really selling on this are the 2 upgrades for Zelda, and those are kind of a disaster situation too. So especially with the first
doesn't
game.
include the DLC.
Doesn't include the
That's
cycle and all
up.
that stuff. Yeah. So and that's
ridiculous.
$90.
Couldn't be bothered to do that. You got to spend an extra $20 if you don't own the DLC already.
Insane. Yeah. So this I thought was kind of sad. Apparently the developers of Deus Ex have pitched a new one to multiple publishers, but no one is biting, which sucks because I liked both of those Deus Ex games. I think Human Revolution, that was the name of it, right?
Evolution.
That was the better of the two.
There's Mankind Divided. And,
that was the most recent one.
Yeah.
It's a bummer. I would like to see a new one. So I like both of them. So we like leaks. We got a leak for Mafia: The Old Country. It leaked on Steam. I think it leaked on Steam and PSN at the same time, that it is going to release August 8th. They have since erased this release date from everywhere, but that kind of makes sense.
It sounds right to me.
You kind of want to plant your flag either before GTA might potentially come out or far after.
This game has to be before GTA.
I also feel like if in the next, let's say 2 months, we get a GTA release date and that game comes out, even within 6 weeks of this, you see this game's release date suddenly change.
When GTA gets announced, when that date finally gets
you're gonna see everybody
even
go,
whether or not it ends up being real or not, because we both know that it might not be. Mm-hmm. Anything that is tentatively scheduled to come out anywhere close to it is moving.
Yes. Anything.
Doesn't matter what the game is, because nothing else is gonna sell for the next month after that game comes out.
No, it's just GTA.
Even if GTA. I'm telling you, man, the sweet spot for that game is mid-November.
Yeah.
I think so.
Just
end of October, mid-November.
Absolutely crushes the holiday season. It's the #1 selling game of all time within 6 months. It's going to be unbelievable.
If I go back to the original PS2 trilogy, those all came out in end of October, so that's around the right time to destroy the holiday season. It sells systems,
but you wouldn't believe.
The original GTA 5 came out in September, and that just dominated the rest of the year. That's all people bought.
Well, it's going to dominate forever, but I'm saying you want it before Christmas because you want it to it'll. Sony wants it before Christmas. I can tell you that right now.
I told you it's either before Christmas or March of next year. It's one or the other.
Those seem like the two most logical times.
Because March, they would want it very end of the quarter to give this huge boost at the end of the year. So, PlayStation 5 prices have gone up in some countries, not the United States, but has gone up in the UK and Europe, Australia, and New Zealand. The standard edition with a disc drive in New Zealand money is almost 1,000, whatever that currency is. Right? In Australia, it's 829.
That's insane.
And then I did not put it in here but it happened around the same time. And PlayStation Plus is also going up in other territories. But this one's weird because it includes Canada.
That's a weird one.
But not the US. But I did tell you, I'm like, the US will see a price increase before the end of this year.
Oh, we're not far behind. No.
I think before the holidays. I think it's during the summer. But Canadian, it's Essential is now 109 Canadian. Extra is 189. If you want that big premium, play them classic PS1 games, it is 225 Canadian dollars.
It's insane.
For 1 year. Well, that's what I asked you. I'm like, so what do you think in American currency this would get up to 100 for just Essential?
So what are they right now?
80.
80.
It's 80 because I have to do it next week.
It could easily be 100.
It's up next week. And when this got announced, I literally when this got announced this week, I was like, fuck, don't be in the US because I have to do mine next week. So, but it's ridiculous. $100 just to play online.
Sony will do it to America for sure because they can.
It's coming. No, they can. They won't back off it either. So, let's talk about for me, this would be the hottest story of the week. It has been rumored for a long time. Things have leaked about this game, but we finally got screenshots. We got actual box art, and it
looks pretty good.
It really seems like it's supposedly coming out next week, and I'm really amped. If it is, I'm literally anything else I have is being thrown to the curb.
God, every text I get for the next fucking week is going to be like, so on
Oblivion?
Yeah, I'm like,
it's going to come out. You're going to hear a day of nothing. And then it's going to be like, I'm playing Oblivion. Oblivion's so great. Yeah.
There's a reason I have the group chat silenced.
No, I did see it times. Oblivion remake is real. The screenshot, it looks incredible visually. I've seen some people kind of bitch about like it's a little more like grayish color. It looks great to me.
I think it still looks really good.
I think people are just.
I think it looks clean.
I did not put it in here, but I sent it to you earlier. The people making the Sky Oblivion thing did put out a thing today, just saying like, hey, we still plan on releasing that thing, and I still want to play that.
Yeah.
Like even on the back of this thing, I still want to see this project. These dudes have spent 13 years making. So, but. Again, we don't know, other than seeing screenshots, the box art, we still don't know much about this thing. And it is wild to me that they would just shadow drop this thing. Like, and not like, I thought this would totally be like, maybe we get a trailer and it's out in June or something like that. That's what I'm still kind of thinking. I don't know, man. Like,
Microsoft likes to do weird shit sometimes. It's possible.
Obviously I'm all in. It's in my top 3 of all time. So
wow.
It is. It's my favorite Elder Scrolls. So far above Skyrim. So I'm super excited. So like I said, if it comes out next week, that's next podcast. That's all you're going to hear about.
Oh boy.
It's the Oblivion remake. So, but yeah, it like I said, there's not really much more you can say because there hasn't been anything else released. I would hope, like you and I, we've talked about all week, but like, I would hope they fix things like the leveling system, some of the combat.
That's
the
all
leveling system in that game is so fucking weird and not great. And I really hope that they just make it like Skyrim's leveling system because that's the one thing that is really weird. It's just after you hit certain level caps in that game, like 10, 20, 30, you see different enemies, but then it's only those types of enemies a lot of the time.
It can break the certain parts of the game if you've over leveled at a certain point.
If you over level like over 100, you will break the fuck out of that game in a really weird way. So I told you that back in the day.
My idea would be there would be classic mode and there would be the balanced mode or whatever they want to call it. That's what I would want it to be.
Because even though you and I bitch about it, there is that group of people out there like, no, I want that.
They want to play the same game again. Yeah, mm-hmm. I don't want to play that again. Yeah,
and I get that, and I respect that. It. So I think that the wise choice would be to have both options.
Right. Kind of like how remember when New Vegas was like you could play regular or you could play hardcore.
Yeah. And then I did not put it in here, but apparently, supposedly the same team that is working on this Oblivion remake is also working on a Fallout 1 for Fallout 3.
That's been rumored for a while too.
I mean, that's probably real at this point. And since we're not going to get a proper Fallout 5 for a while,
Fallout 3
and the popularity of this show,
Fallout 3 came out a couple years after Oblivion. So yeah, I mean, it all kind of lines up. So
it would make sense.
Yeah, do it.
So.
And I love that there's a section of people on the internet who are like, why are they doing this?
There is.
Why are they redoing that? It's like, what do you care? Weird. Why are they remaking games people love? I don't know. Maybe to sell them.
And the reason I bought a 360 at launch was for Oblivion. It was originally a launch title that got delayed until March of the next year.
Right.
So that I just
game was
sad and played Perfect
Dark
for a couple months like everybody else. And pretended to say that Perfect Dark was good until something better came along, and we could all agree now this multiplayer is not good.
That wasn't very good. Yeah,
it was not good. But at the time, there wasn't anything else. So, Phil Spencer has pretty much confirmed there will be another Indiana Jones game. Obviously, we know the game was successful on Game Pass. It just came out like today on the PS5 or yesterday.
No, I think it was today.
I think it was today. I think they did the early access thing, and I think it's everybody today. So, and it's going to sell there. It's going to sell very well.
It's a fantastic game. Everyone should play it.
It's my game of the year last
year.
They'll
obviously make a second one, but they've got a Wolfenstein game to put out first. And
like my dream would be to get the end of Wolfenstein. I really want the last Wolfenstein for that story.
Right.
And then go make 8 more Indiana Jones.
I would assume Wolfenstein is what's being worked on right now.
It has to be, right?
Yes.
Like it's been since 2019 when we got the New Blood thing.
Now that Indy is out and they're finishing up Wolfenstein, they'll start writing stuff down for what's the next Indiana Jones story.
I'm sure they already have a plan, and like, given how well written that game is, I would hope
the
they
production value of that game is through the roof.
Like,
yeah,
like tap those same people, and hopefully we get another great story.
A little bit of refinements. It needs
a little bit
new environments. Did you see that they patched it and they added in new skill books?
No, but that's cool.
And remember, there's still DLC coming. They reconfirmed it. That story DLC is coming.
I forgot about that. Yeah, I forgot about that.
And then I told you the crazy thing about the PlayStation version, right?
No.
You can pop the platinum from your Xbox save.
Oh, yeah.
Because you can because one of the options in the PlayStation version is to log into your Microsoft account.
Okay.
And then by doing so, it brings your progress in. It pops the platinum trophy.
That's pretty cool.
And I think I'd mentioned to you, I would assume that the Forza Horizon 5 would do the same thing. As long as it's
got an option to sign in your Microsoft account, I can see that it does it. But interesting. I think when I eventually get it for PlayStation, I'll probably play it again just because I like it so damn much. But
I think I'm sure you saw this too, but the physical copy only has like 20 gigs on the disc, and then the rest isn't download. But it's still cool that they made it.
Plus gigs.
Yeah, it's a huge game.
Yeah.
I threw this in here because I think this is cool. It might actually get me to go back and try this game again. But Lords of the Fallen got a huge 2.0 update. They added a lot of stuff to that game. They fleshed out the character creator even more than it was before. So like I said, I enjoyed that game up until I realized like the added level of bullshit they were adding to it for a Dark Souls like game, and that kind of pulled me out of it. But I'm willing to go back and give it another try. Plus, it is a pro enhanced game, so I might as well, as someone who owns a copy of it, I might as well see what that's about. And then our final news story we have here is that Ready or Not is coming to PS5. It's coming to Xbox as well, but it's coming to PS5 this summer. Which I bought it. I played the tutorial, but that's all I played for it. I think you played a little bit of it, Matt. On PC as well. It's a cool game.
Yeah, I'm gonna play it now.
Yeah, it's a cool game.
I played a good chunk of it, and I need to. I bought both. I think both of the downloads that they have for
the DLCs. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the DLCs, and I need to go back and start playing through those. But man, it gets kind of intense sometimes, and like you have to like take a moment because it's just one of those games where it's like you have to like learn as you go too with it. Like when I was talking about it the first time, as far as people on your team dropping off and having to like take like mental health moments and stuff. Essentially, it's kind of like realistic. You have to learn in it, and I like it. I mean, I think it's a really solid shooter style game. I might go back to it now.
I didn't throw it in the news, but they put out a new trailer. I don't know if you saw it for that FCB Firebreak.
Aren't they going to have like some kind of like direct or something for it? I thought.
I think at the end of like the 24th, I think I saw. Yeah. So the end of this month, yeah. But that continues to look pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'm down. I'm super down to play that. We've been talking about that ever since they announced it.
Dumb, fun control co-op like game set in that universe, which is perfectly fine. So. Really quick here, we can go through our game recommendations for the week. I've thrown in here Bully, which I should go back to. I did start a new run of Bully recently, and I should go back to it. But Bully, also one of my favorite games of all time. Probably it would be in my top 10. It'd be probably the lower half, but it is. It's my favorite Rockstar game. So and the 360 version is the version to play of it. So. There is a PS2 to PS4 version that also is very, very playable, but it doesn't have all of the content because the 360 version was like that scholarship edition, so it added like a couple of extra classes and missions and stuff. And it looks a little bit cleaner on the 360, especially if you're playing it on like a Series X now. But fantastic game, fantastic story. Definitely, like I will say, playing through it again, like there are certain missions in that game that like might not be the most appropriate in 2025, considering it's involving teachers. But I'm just there's all I'll say is there's a panty raid mission that involves a gym teacher, and like after replaying that, I'm like, you probably couldn't do that today. So, but it's still a fantastic game. So, and one of my favorite, like, even though it's a small and condensed like town you can explore, still one of my favorite open worlds that they ever made for a Rockstar game. So, what about you, Dan? You have a good one on here.
Yeah, so this is a game that I loved it when it came out. I was very excited for it, pre-ordered it, all that kind of stuff. I'm going to show the DS version, but you can play it on current consoles. It's $9.99, which is 9 hours, 9 persons, 9 doors. Also, it got retitled, I think, when it came to current stuff. It's part of a trilogy of things, I think, now called the Nonary games, or Zero Escape is the other word that it goes by. Super fun, like puzzle / like escape room type game, where depending on the choices you make and the people you team up with, like various different things happen in the game. Multiple endings. You actually have to play through it, I want to say 4 times. I think it's 4 times to finish it. But the game has a mechanic in it where it's kind of like fourth wall / like self-aware of that you're on your next playthrough. So your character will like remember things that have happened the first time through the game. So it seems out of place until you get to the end, but it's actually a story mechanic. Like it's actually part of the story that this is happening. It's just a really wild like ride. But the thing about it, the best part about it is like the puzzles are actually like genuinely interesting, and they're very different from like the different rooms you go to in this like ship that you're trapped in. And if you don't solve it in time, like you're all going to drown basically because the ship is sinking.
Oh well, damn.
But there's 9 characters. You play as one guy, and you kind of mix and go back and forth and get backstories and learn how everybody's connected. And super great game. Like I said, this is a DS version. I don't think it's actually like incredibly difficult to find now, but you can't just buy the whole thing on PlayStation.
It's on sale all the time.
And it's on sale all the time.
I think right now it's like $10, and you get the first 2.
Yes, because they broke it where like it's the first 2, and then there's the third one.
Mm-hmm.
But and the third one I think might be a prequel. I can't. It's been a long time. But I played this game a shitload. It's just very good. Like it's very well written. Like the characters are interesting. Highly recommended. Like puzzle game.
Okay.
How about you, Matt?
I said Mario Wonder. I felt like it was a pretty solid, side-scrolling Mario game. I actually picked it back up here recently. My youngest has gotten into it, so me and him have been playing it together. It's just a lot of fun. Like, nothing crazy about it. You have to put a lot of work into it. It's not a super long game by any means, but it's just good old, what I refer to as Mario fun.
Yeah, I need to go back to it. Yeah. So it is on my list of the many backlog games I have for the Switch to play when I get a Switch too. So we can kick over to movie stuff. I will kick it off by saying I have now seen I double featured 2 movies last night. I will kick it off with the worst of the 2, which is Captain America: Brave New World.
You did it.
I will say it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. Like I had built it up to be this like horrendous piece of garbage movie. It's not like the worst thing I've ever seen or anything like that. It's just there's parts of it that like you can tell it's a movie that's stitched together horribly at times.
Yeah.
I think I text you the thing, like there are some scenes where it seems like Harrison Ford knows what's going on, and other scenes where it's like I don't think he has a fucking clue what's happening.
That's how he is in real life now.
No, it is when they ask him like stuff.
When they cast him to take over for him, I mean I like Harrison Ford a lot, obviously. I just thought that was like that seems like a mistake.
I think it was just an easy thing because he had just got done making that last indie movie. He already has a relationship with Disney for that. and they needed to fill that hole. So, but I will also say, like, the ones, and they had to put this scene in the movie, but the one scene where he has the fake mustache and they reference that is terrible.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, there's bad CG in the movie and stuff, but that is bad. The CG, like the end fight, the CG, all that's probably the worst CG in the movie. With the Red Hulk stuff, but I just I don't know, like I was more with it in the first half than I was the second half. So.
Yeah, because
the thing is, like,
sense.
I like Anthony Mackie as Captain America.
He's not the
problem with the movie at all. Like, he's fine. So it is everything else. Like, we're calling back that Hulk movie from 15 years ago that people aren't.
That's okay. I'm okay with that. The problem I had was they set it up where it's going to be some kind of like spy thriller, like The Winter Soldier was.
It's trying so hard to be that movie, and it's not.
And it builds up to an anticlimactic Red Hulk battle against a guy who doesn't have superpowers. He just has a suit and a shield.
But his suit has, like, some of them, like, at this point, he has an answer for everything.
Right.
Yeah. And it's just overwhelming, like, how many answers he has for everything. And it made me laugh.
It's just really disjointed. And
it is.
It feels like there's a better way to do it. And also, if the leader if the leader is so smart that he can create this technology where, like, it flashes on a phone to, like, mind control people, why doesn't he do it to everyone?
Right?
Why doesn't it just happen?
A little weird, right? Yeah.
I talked about it when I saw the movie. Like, now you get the frame of reference from when they go into his little lair and they have to put their hand through the gate to push the button.
Oh yeah.
Who is that stopping from going in or out of this place?
Yeah, exactly. It's
like,
very fucking stupid.
So insane. Like some of the decisions this movie makes.
It's ridiculous. I laughed.
And like I didn't mind the new kid as the Falcon. That was fine too.
He's fine. Yeah. Little over energetic at times, but he's fine.
Yeah, it's just it builds to something where it doesn't really end, and then you don't get to see the fallout really of what happened.
No.
Like, they both get arrested. That's it. Wow.
So it's a whatever movie. Yeah. But the other movie I watched, probably my favorite movie I've seen this year now thus far, is The Monkey. I actually, now having seen The Monkey, I really wish I would have went to the theater to see it, because it would have been fun to see it with an audience.
So entertaining.
Just for the reactions of some of these kills in the movie. So, like, I will say first, like, if you don't know anything about this movie, you will know within the first 5 minutes if it's for you or not.
Yeah. So,
because it is very, like, that the first opening scene of the movie, which has a great cameo from Adam Scott, it will tell you everything you need to know about what kind of movie it is. So, like, if you're going to this movie and don't know that it's a horror comedy, you will know in the first 5 minutes that it's a horror comedy, because it is just over the top gore at times. That is, like, kind of slapstick humorous in a way. Like the one I text you about today that made me lose it and laugh really hard was the pool, because it just was so unexpected. Like, it's not what I expected, because, like, there's basically a situation where, like, the water gets electrocuted in this pool and this woman goes to jump into it, and I was like, oh, she'll get fried and die, whatever. No, she jumps in, it fucking explodes. Like, just boom.
Wild.
All her parts go. It's just like, oh, like, I laughed because I didn't know how to take that. It's, like I said, there are parts of the movie that are silly. Like, gets into silly territory with, like, the brothers, especially the end. The thing that was bothering me was, like, I get why he did it, and it probably makes more sense in the context of if you read this Stephen King short story, which if I did, it was years ago. But how is the brother is wearing, like, the original funeral suit, but he's, like, cut it up so he can wear it as a man today, and it just looks terrible because it's a child suit, but he's wearing it. Like,
yeah,
that was dumb.
He looks dumb.
He looked dumb as fuck, but I loved the movie from the beginning. I thought it was just fantastic. It's a very weirdly dark, comedic horror movie. So, and you don't get those very often.
Not at all.
And all the performances in it are very, very good. Like, even it has the girl that played She-Hulk as their mother. She's very good in it. I think even was it this is why I couldn't figure out. I know obviously as an adult it's the same actor playing twins, but was it the same actor playing the twins as a boy, or were those actual twins? I don't know that. So
let me look it up.
I don't think so, because they looked a little bit different, but I could be wrong on that. But like even the acting of them as kids, the only thing that kind of took me out of it was like the beginning part of that movie as when they're kids is supposed to be set in 1999. It feels like a very weird version of 1999. So
yeah, it's the same kid.
It is the same kid. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It is that part of it's very weird because it's so basically, and if you know anything about the premise of the story, their dad like bought this like toy monkey, obviously discovers there's a curse with it, tries to sell it to a store, doesn't work. He tries to burn it with a flamethrower, doesn't work because the thing just it's a cool scene because they show it like kind of melting and it just keeps regenerating. So that was funny. And then he hides it away in the closet. So like years later, these two kids find it, the two twins, and then shit obviously starts happening. Like people start dying. Their babysitter gets killed at the hibachi place. Thought that was funny. Some of the deaths are kind of gnarly. So, but it sets up a story for then the present day, and he's trying to stop the brother from using the monkey. So, but it is it's a fantastic movie. I cannot recommend it enough. But again, you have to go in. It's not the goriest movie I've ever seen or anything like that. But if you are not expecting like gore, there's gore in it. It's pretty strong. So
it's wild.
And then the last thing that I'll mention, I mean, I'm not going to talk anything about spoilers or anything. I did finish Daredevil. I don't like that we're calling it a season 1 and season 2 because it's really one season. They just split, but it's fantastic and it perfectly fits right into being a season 4 of the Netflix show. So, and I do think now I can now definitively say this is probably my favorite version of the Punisher. Between that TV show and I mean, it's obviously he's in this. It's all over all the previews. I don't think that's a spoiler to say he's there. But it's just fantastic show. It continues, and it is important that it highlights the strongest two parts of that show, which is that dude is Daredevil and our buddy is Wilson Fisk, and those are the strongest things they have, and that is the highlight of the show. So, and then should we, before I kick it over to you, Dan, should we talk about the Fantastic Four trailer?
Watch it. I'm not.
You did not watch it?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I don't need to.
You're not going to watch it?
No.
Okay.
There's no point. The movie comes out in a couple months. Like, I already know I'm going to be there.
All right. We won't talk about the Fantastic Four.
Don't need to. Don't want to. Don't care. I'm going to go see it.
Kick it over to you, Dan, because you saw something in the theater.
Yeah. And then, Matt, you saw this too, so we can talk about it.
Yeah, you too.
So,
I have not seen it yet.
I don't think we didn't talk about it last time, right? On the main.
No,
it wasn't
because it came out. Okay. Yeah.
So, saw A Working Man, the latest Jason Statham, Beekeeper 1.5, whatever you want to call it, the movie.
Probably a good name for it, right?
Yeah, it has a feeling of that for sure. It's just not as, he's not really an assassin this time. He's like a Green Beret or secret. Is that what he was?
I thought he was a former Army guy or something. I
SAS or something like that.
Oh,
yeah.
Royal Marine Commando.
Okay.
That's what they said.
Okay.
Whatever. I mean, it's just an excuse for him to beat the shit out of people. And like the only thing I'll say about this one compared to like Beekeeper is, the final scene of this one where he's like taking these guys down is fucking wild because it's it's him and this other group and like this kind of like this other group and they're all going at it at the same time.
All right.
And like. In typical Statham fashion, like the bad guys are just real pieces of shit that you really hate. It's exactly what you think it is, and
that's what I wanted.
What did IGN give it? Something like a 3?
They gave it like a 3. Like they were really harsh on it.
After I got out of the movie theater, I was like, "Nah, it's like a 6 or a 7. Like it's not a great movie, but that's not what I'm expecting." There's a lot of like suspend your beliefs about what's physically possible, but it doesn't matter. He kicked everybody's ass and he went home.
I think the difference here is like Beekeeper was just unexpectedly good because you had no idea going in what the story of that was going to be and how they were going to set it up. Whereas this, like, and I haven't seen it yet, but I can just tell from the trailer for this, like, I know everything what's going to happen in this movie.
Yeah, it's incredibly predictable.
Yeah. So. But I will have watched it by the next time we record.
It's fun.
It's up on demand now.
If you want that kind of movie, that's exactly the kind of movie it is.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with
it. It's a Statham flick. That's all it is.
Mhm.
I mean, but it's not bad. Not at all.
No. The only thing I will say that I didn't like, but it's kind of whatever, is basically the whole plot of it is he's rescuing this girl that was like kidnapped.
Yeah.
To be kind of sold to this guy, but they just keep kind of making up excuses as to why she's still alive. Because it's been like at least a week, maybe even longer.
Okay.
And she's still in perfect health. You know, she still looks good. All this kind of stuff. And it's kind of strange. And they just kind of like, they keep making excuses as to why nobody shot her yet, even though she's being defiant the whole time. And then at the end, this isn't like a super spoiler. At the end, like, she's involved in this like final scene. And let's just say she's not really scared about what's going on.
Yeah.
Like, it's a little weird.
I thought that was the weird part for me too. When I saw it, I was kind of like, she's really gung-ho about this, like easily calm, too calm.
Right. They play it off as like, because she works for the company that he works for. She's like the daughter of the owners. And like they have a relationship there, which they try to establish through one scene where she brings him some food. And all of a sudden I'm supposed to believe that like he would kill for her. It's a little odd. Like the motivations are strange.
Yeah.
But yeah, at the end of the day, I really could care less about what everybody's motivations are for this. We're talking about he's fucking throwing grenades at one point. There's like knife fights. There's you know, with that one guy he fights, Matt, with like the guy, like the biker guy, where he kills him at the end in the thing, and the guy's like, go ahead and do it. Because he's like, the guy knows he's gonna die. It's kind of dumb.
All right.
But yeah, it's fun.
There you go, my brother.
Yeah, something like that.
I was like, oh my god.
So dumb. Whatever, it was good.
It was solid.
I'd watch another one tomorrow if they release the second one.
And they're working on Beekeeper 2 right now, so.
And I will say that I do have tickets for Thunderbolts lined up. So just in case you were wondering, Kyle.
Oh, I know you're gonna go see that.
Of course, I've already got them.
Maybe I'll watch that one on demand. Like Captain America, I was interested in seeing just to see. I don't know
keep
about
up, man. We're building toward Doomsday. Got to build up.
I don't know if I care about Thunderbolts.
Why not? Some of them are going to be in Doomsday.
I will watch Fantastic Four. So,
well, they're all in Doomsday because they have to be.
They have to be.
I love when they were doing. I would love when they were doing like the reveal. I'd be like, I can't believe they're going to put all of them. It's like, you think the Fantastic Four was going to be in the Doom movie? Okay, fine.
That's a little weird. Yeah, like,
idiots.
A little odd.
And and really quick, just about that, I loved all the people complaining, like, why aren't all these people in Doomsday? Like, Spider-Man's not. It's like, yeah, because they have another one coming out like a couple years later, and they got to save some people for that.
Plus, Spider-Man has his own movie that will come out right after Doomsday in like July. Yeah. So
they have to save some of these people for the second part.
And he's gonna be busy like having people remember who he is.
Yeah, don't worry, man. Exactly. Don't worry, man. They dragged out
bigger things to worry about.
All the early 2000s X-Men for you. Like, so it'll be okay.
It'll be all right.
Spider-Man's not in this one. People take this shit too
seriously. What about you, man?
Wow.
What else?
So we talked about 2 movies already. I'm just gonna jump on to 2 that I was really into. So I watched Peter Pan: Return to Neverland. I got a couple questions. So are either of you gonna watch this?
No.
Cool. No. All right. So I'm gonna talk about it real quick. If anybody else wants to, if you're gonna watch this, I'm just gonna give a lot about what happens.
Is this attached to that same universe as Winnie the Pooh and all that crap?
So I believe so. Okay. Because it took me a second, and I may have to go back and watch a little bit of it. Peter Pan is. So in the very beginning, they kind of make it seem like he's like a mystical kind of being. Like he's kind of like, he like legitimately is Peter Pan, and that's what you're thinking. By the end of the movie, you realize he's not. He's like a drug-crazed maniac. That's all he is.
Okay.
All he is. And the crazy thing about it is the people in the town know who he is and know what he does. But nobody in this town has taken it upon themselves to get rid of Peter Pan. And they refer to him as Peter Pan. That's the weird shit. So if I had to line up these movies, Winnie the Pooh, the first one, horrible. Don't watch it. Peter Pan is better but still not as great as Winnie the Pooh, the second movie.
Okay.
You find out that essentially Peter Pan is like taking kids to Neverland, and Neverland is essentially just murdering them. That's all he's doing.
Okay.
The one thing that kind of threw me off, and I'm still not 100% certain where they were going with this, is at the end of the movie, you essentially meet Captain Hook.
Okay.
And Hook is this dude or this person, I'm not even sure what he is.
Okay.
That's been like, I guess, locked in the basement of Peter Pan's like drug house.
Okay.
Where dude has a hook for a hand. And at the end of the movie, so what happens is Peter Pan takes this, Wendy's son and takes him into the house. And essentially he's like keeping him because he wants to take him to Neverland. So the girl in the movie, she's doing everything she can to find out how she can get her brother back and all this jazz. Essentially, she goes in, fights Peter Pan, rescues her brother, whatnot. And in this whole time frame, she ends up helping release the person who's stuck in the basement with the hook hand.
Okay, which is supposed to be Hook. Okay.
Right. So at the end of the movie, also you meet Tinkerbell in this. Tinkerbell.
What is Tinkerbell's twist here?
Tinkerbell's on drugs too.
Awesome. Hell
so
yeah.
You find out that Tinkerbell is actually the very first kid that Peter Pan ever took. He kept him and turned him into Tink, essentially. Like treated him real nice, made him. It's essentially Stockholm syndrome is all you're doing.
Yeah.
But then, Tinkerbell is essentially trying to protect Peter Pan, and she still has the magic until the very end when she finally realizes exactly what Peter Pan is and what he's doing to these kids that he keeps taking. By the end of the movie, the girl saves her brother, Tinkerbell dies. And while Peter Pan is like essentially monologuing, Captain Hook comes out of nowhere and just hooks him in like his shoulder and just drags him down to the basement. So you have no idea what's happening.
If he's
what's going on. All in all, it was an interesting watch. Not what I expected, but I mean, it wasn't horrible, but it also was one of those things where you kind of have to go in with like more open eyes, I guess. Like it's not good. I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you, it's not a movie for everybody by all means, and not because of the drug related references or anything like that. It's just a really slow movie. And by when I got to the middle and Peter Pan is essentially killing people to take kids. And other people are like, oh, yeah, we know about Peter Pan. I'm like, why has nobody else decided to just kill this motherfucker?
That's
like,
weird.
Like, think about it. In the original Freddy Krueger movies, once the neighborhood found out who Freddy was, they set his house on fire.
I was going to say, you would think that it's weird to go the drug angle instead of having him have some sort of mystical power, because they could have essentially made him a Freddy Krueger-like character.
It threw me off.
Yeah.
But like at one point in the movie, like Peter Pan is asking Tink for fairy dust, and then you like see what he does with it, and you're like, oh shit, Peter is just a fucking druggie. That's all he is.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Just trying to get his fix.
Yeah.
I mean, it was okay. Like I'm really into this universe right now, so I'm just watching everything out of it because I want to see what happens.
Come out yet or no?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
No. I did see the trailer for that, and that looks kind of stupid. But I'm in for it because I just want to see what happens. And then you sent me the one for Aladdin, apparently.
Yeah, there's
and I read the synopsis about that one, and now I'm stoked about that.
We're going all in on these.
These are gonna be bad, but at least one of them has to be good. Like I said, Winnie the Pooh 2 was fantastic. I thought it was a good one. Like as far as a slasher flick goes, I thought it was
the
really
bar.
Good. That's the bar right now
for this universe.
So we'll see. I'm gonna try to track down the Popeye ones to see if I can watch, because I know there's two. There's really, really bad trailer Popeye, And then there's the Popeye that's supposed to fix this universe or like be in this universe. I can't remember. There's two of them that came out recently.
I want to say one of them was called Popeye the Slayer Man.
That's it.
And then the other one, and then the other one may just be Popeye.
Yeah, so. I think that's it. So Popeye the Slayer Man is the bad one. The
bad one. I watched the trailer for both, and I think they both look bad. But
yeah,
there was one that looked egregiously bad compared to the other one. So
yeah, that's Popeye the Slayer Man, where Popeye looks like he's.
Is that the one where it's just like kids partying in the woods, and he shows up and he like chews some spinach and just fucking kills kids?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
that's probably the bad one then.
Yeah, I believe that's the bad one.
Okay.
And then the other one I think is called Shiver Me
Timbers. That's what it was called. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, and there's another one coming out called Popeye's Revenge. Oh, this is about to get crazy.
This public domain shit is out of control.
Out of control.
These things are ready to go within like 2 weeks of this stuff happening.
And then I told you that my goal is to watch these bad nun movies. I forgot what they were.
Yeah, you sent them to me. There's like 3 of them. There's a trilogy called Bad Nun.
I'm gonna go check them out.
It just looks like a ripoff of The Nun. It's
yeah,
like what it looks like.
Well, and because I was looking for The Nun because I told you I wanted to go through the Conjuring movies, and I looked for The Nun, and the Bad Nun 3 popped up, and I was like, what? And then I just kind of went down a rabbit hole. So I'm gonna check these all out too. But the last one I wanted to talk about was this movie called Kill on Hulu. If you a little quick synopsis of it, there's 2 military men. One of the guys is in love with this girl who's getting arranged marriage to another guy, and they come back home from like a mission, and they're on break, and she's essentially telling him that I'm getting married tomorrow, and it's arranged by my family, and I don't know what to do. So then, he takes off, and him and his friend go to find her. They get on the train that she's on. He proposes to her. They're all happy-go-lucky. All of a sudden, this train gets jumped on by bandits. This is like an India-based film. I will say it was fantastic. Like Beekeeper 2.0. Like it was just crazy some of the stuff he was running into and some of the stuff he's doing. One of the kills on one of the bandits he ended up killing, by far one of the best things I've seen in a while. It's on the level of when Jason Statham let that dude go off the back of the truck into the lake. Like it is essentially the same. The crazy thing is I saw it happening and I was like, "There's no way he's about to do what just happened," and he did it, and I was like, "Wow, okay, cool." It's really really good.
Is it subtitled or is it dubbed?
So it's weird because it's subtitled, but they do speak English in some parts. So it's like it's weird, like in that aspect. Like they kind of flip flop back in between English and like the
Isn't
subtitle.
It Hindi?
I want to say it's Hindi, but I also don't want to be disrespectful too.
No, I want to say that because the reason I say that is because I think it was like their first big action movie or something when it came out, because that was the marketing behind it.
They knocked it out the park.
Okay.
Like, that was a fantastic movie.
And it's on Hulu?
It's on Hulu right now. Okay. So yeah, go give it a check. I think you'd really like it, honestly.
Yeah, it's action. It's not,
Yeah, give it a shot. But that's me. Let's go into these emails.
Yep, we can kick over to emails. So, obviously, as to be expected, got some emails about the Switch 2.
Just read them all, I guess.
I'm going to read them all, yeah. Nick from Lincoln, Nebraska. Hi, 572 crew. The Switch 2 announcement was quite a clusterfuck. Between the price, the tariff situation, the entire situation with game prices, the whole thing just comes off as one of the most botched announcements. I guess that we were due, though, right? 2006 PS3, 2013 Xbox One, and now 2025 Switch 2. Now, each company has had a botched console announcement. With all that being said, do you all stand in the same place on it, or have your opinions wavered at all? We're all in the same, basically. Like, I'm gonna get one, and you both are out at launch.
It did nothing. So. It did nothing to help me want to buy one. I guess we don't have to read all these in order because they're all about different stuff. But it did nothing to help me want to buy one. If anything, it
deterred you.
It confirmed that I don't need it.
You don't need one at launch, maybe in a year.
I was in when they had originally said it was backwards compatible, and I was like, well, dope. That's all I really care for. I just want to be able to play all the new Switch games and my old Switch games without a problem. But now it's gotten into the whole, some of these are, some of these aren't, some of these are being worked on. We're not really sure if this will work. You have to test. Yeah, I'm not in it anymore. Like, I'm out.
Yeah.
That just canceled it all to me. The price doesn't really care. Like, I knew prices were going to change. I knew it was going to go up, but yeah, that is what took me out of the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still, I a lot of it has to be like, I've been in the boat for a while, saying I'm looking forward to getting one just to play this backlog of games. And I'm still on board to do that. But I mean, even then, like, my launch is literally the system and Mario Kart and a Pro controller. So
yeah,
like, I'm not everything else. Like, even Donkey Kong, like, I think Donkey Kong looks cool. I probably won't get it day one.
No.
But also, like, again, the thing you have to remember, like, Switch games, Nintendo games don't really go down in price. So
at most it's $20, $20, 30.
So, but I'm still in launch. I'll review it on the channel, and I am looking forward to it. It's just a lot of the stuff around it. It's just, we sucked a lot of the air out of the announcement with a lot of the bullshit. So,
and I think this would be, whenever I decided to buy one, this would be my first all digital console, because I'm not.
That's the boat I'm in too. Like, it's weird because I think I mentioned to you, Dan, like the UK version of that bundle comes with the cartridge,
I know.
But in America it's digital. But considering just the whole botch nature of what's going on with that stuff,
this system,
I think Switch 2 games for me will be digital.
This system would have been just a digital system if they didn't have to have people be able to play Switch games on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's the main reason.
Yep.
Oh, for sure.
Larry from San Diego, California. Hey, crew. The Switch 2 announcement was such a bummer when the dust settled. I don't know anyone within my friends group that is still excited for the system. I can't think of an announcement that has ever sucked the wind out of the excitement before. Can you guys think of, well, the last guy mentioned,
the biggest one is the Xbox. Is the Xbox One, I think, is the biggest one.
I think Xbox One, I would say, would be number one, and then PS3 would be number two.
Right. Because the Xbox One was the worst because it was incredibly confusing, and it was like almost confusing by design. And then when confronted about it afterwards, they had to be like, nobody could answer it properly, except for they had to be like, well, he wasn't exactly right. And it was such a fucking
Did you remember
mess.
It was like 2 to 3 weeks after that thing was announced that they put out like that FAQ then of like, okay, this is what this means, this is what that means.
But even after that, even after they explained everything, they had to walk stuff back.
The damage was already done. Like, even when they walked that stuff back,
it was too late.
For years. At the store, we would still get people coming in that think you have to have that system online all times.
Yeah, well, because the thing was, everybody thought it had to be online all the time because they did not explain it, that it was a check once a day, and you didn't have to pay for it. Like, it had nothing to do with it.
It's basically what Game Pass is.
Right. Yeah, it's exactly. So. But Don Matrick just fucking buried it. He absolutely buried it. He came off like a complete dumbass who didn't know what he was talking about.
He did.
And then,
well, and remember, they were also coming off of the 360, and they were very much like the Nintendo cockiness.
They were in a good spot. They were in a good space. They were willing to take a risk and do the things they wanted to do, not necessarily the stuff they should do. And then that leads into, like, the PS3 was the same way. We're Sony, we're in a commanding lead. With the PS2, like the Xbox and the GameCube combined were barely even half of a PS2 in terms of like sales at that point, and they just decided to go for it and make the system they wanted to make and fuck everybody else. Yeah, the only difference was at least they were upfront about it, but it still was like they were upfront about making a bad system.
Yeah. It was bad.
Trying to justify it, like, what's a Blu-ray player too? Great, it's still $600 in 2007.
Well, they remember they were the ones that had the famous comment of, if you can't afford it, get a second job.
Yeah, or you won't be able. I guarantee you can't find them in stores. Or
remember the article that came out where people were calling and they could find them on launch day?
And they also were the first ones to be like, well, at launch, we're going to have a 20 gig and a 60 gig. And then they quickly added a 40 gig and an 80 gig. But then they got rid of that 80 gig and came out with a different. Then there was a 160. Like, they were the first ones to just be like, fuck it, we'll get weird about it. The 360 was basically like, do you want a hard drive or not? That's what it was.
When it launched, it was you want a hard drive or a memory card. Yeah. Wasn't too like, when did they cut off or take out the PS2 functionality of that PS2?
So the 60s had basically another reason the 60s were so expensive is they had PS2 stuff inside.
Okay.
And then they made that 80 gig one that could do it too, but it emulated stuff. And then after that, they were like, fuck it.
Okay. Because they all retain the PS1 playability.
Yeah, because that's just a CD player.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just like those two other console launches were a mess. In third place, Nintendo has done this before, and I don't think a lot of people remember it. It was the original 3DS was a shit show.
Yeah, I kind of
$250 for something that had almost no games for a long time. And it got so bad they had to apologize by giving you free Game Boy Advance.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember that.
They apologized because they made it too expensive. So they've made mistakes before, but they're at that we're riding high, let's do what we want phase. And with these new people in charge, they clearly don't care.
They don't right now. They would have to see. There would have to be a massive backlash, or this thing would have to like mega bomb.
The backlash is already there, and it doesn't matter. The only thing that would stop it
from the announcement, and look at the chat from yesterday in the Mario Kart thing, where it's just everybody asking for them to drop the price.
Right. The only thing that could possibly stop them at this point is if this system didn't sell, and you and I both know it's sold out in 10 minutes.
Oh yeah. Next email we have comes from Lucas from Denver, Colorado. Howdy guys, love the podcast. You think that there's any chance with all the scuttle around the Switch 2 pricing that Nintendo reconsider the pricing, or do you think they are just full steam ahead? Thanks. It's clear now today.
It's locked in.
And this email came in before that, but that now they're full steam ahead.
We're locked in. We're raising 100%. Accessory prices. Don't expect game prices, Nintendo first party game prices to get any better.
Not at all.
Maybe worse. But it's there's no going back.
No. Ray from Prescott, Arizona. Hi guys, with Nintendo pushing games into the $80-$90 range, do you think it's feasible that Rockstar and Take-Two put GTA 6 out at $100? Yeah. I think if there's ever been a chance,
it's in play now.
Yeah. I think before the Nintendo thing, maybe not, but I think now that if Nintendo is willing to push it up to the 80-90 range, there's nothing stopping Rockstar.
Before the Nintendo thing, GTA was clearly a $70 game with probably a $100 version that did something else. Yeah. Now, it's at least an $80 game, probably. And the other version's $120, probably. Yeah. Yeah, could it get to? I think 100 is a big ask, and I get it.
I think it's 80.
I think 80 seems right because they're going to make all the money off of shark cards. They don't need to make the extra $20 per game because they're counting on the guys who are going to spend $1,000 on shark cards.
I think and this is a big if because we don't know the story here yet, but I think if the game launches and it is just single player with the multiplayer portion to launch later, kind of like GTA 5, I think there's just one version and it's $80. But if they're going to push that new version of GTA Online day one, I think then there's another version that comes with a shark card for $100.
Maybe to get you to buy into buying shark cards.
Exactly. But again, that is all dependent on if that is ready to go launch day. And if I'm being honest, I don't think it will be.
Maybe not.
I think it's just the campaign for now.
The other thing I think is like 80 at least is high, but I still think people will pay it. I think 100 is that magic number where that turns people off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
because if 100 is too much, you know the game's going to go on sale. You know it's going to be $6. It's sad, but like $60 is going to be the sale price. Look at GTA 5. There are plenty of times after it come out within a short amount of time where it was half price, $20, whatever. Because again, they want you in to play the online to buy the shark.
Now
that's what
now they do.
Yeah, 100
For sure.
100 just seems
too high.
But 80 seems right.
It's like 100 really seems you're going for the throat, whereas like 80, the excuse they'll have is, well, look at Mario Kart,
right?
So and that's why I think
look at the amount of look at the amount of stuff in this game compared to that $80. That's what they'll do.
I can see that.
Do you think it comes out on Switch too?
Not day one.
Okay.
I think if there is a version,
right?
I think if there is a version that is playable on Switch 2, it would be. I think it would come out before the PC version because they always do that last. But I do not think it would be ready to go day one. I don't see.
Do you think they put GTA 5 on Switch 2?
Yes.
Yeah,
I can almost guarantee you see that before you see GTA 6.
They should, right?
They should,
because it's not like they're gonna forget about 5, even though 6 is out.
No. Christopher from Twin Falls, Idaho. Hey guys, always love when you do movie and TV stuff. I'm curious, any TV shows that you guys recommend binging right now? I'm looking for something new. It can be serious or comedic. It doesn't matter to me. I like dramatic and serious stuff as well as sci-fi, fantasy, action, and comedy. Thanks. I did not write anything down about this for as I should have, but I'll let you start, Max. You wrote stuff down.
Yeah, I just recently started watching something on Hulu called The Neighborhood. It stars Cedric the Entertainer and the guy who plays Schmidt from New Girl.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. They I've been seeing like little, snippets of it here and there, and so I decided to just kind of dive into it. It's actually a really solid sitcom. I think they're on season 6 right now. There's some good moments, funny moments. It's pretty entertaining. I'd say check that out. It's pretty good. I just finished catching up on 911. There's 2 versions of 911. There's the 911 from LA, and then there's 911. I think it's like Texas.
So it's called Lone Star.
Thank you, Lone Star. One of them too.
I don't know why I know that. I don't watch it.
But 911 it's a really good drama. The characters are all fantastic. I'm not even going to say it's a season finale. I guess it's the newer season starts back on May 1st, so they're like taking a 2-week hiatus, but this past episode, friggin' dagger into the heart, man. It was so good, and something that happened there too. And then The Rookie. It's got Nathan Fillion in it, and it's been just a fantastic binge too.
I watched that. I'm caught up on that. I like that show for the most part, although we're on season 7, I think now, and that show was very good in the first 3 seasons, but then it becomes one of those shows where every possible fantastical thing in the world happens to this guy.
Yeah.
Like he stops a nuke or this other thing. And it's the latest episodes are just so off the wall crazy that it's I've given up on it being a realistic cop show like it kind of was in the beginning. That has disappeared. It is completely gone. But that show's it's still entertaining. I'll watch it. It's got another season coming, so whatever. I'll power through, I guess. But
there you go. Power through.
But that's one of the shows I currently watch on Hulu. I don't watch them weekly. I just catch up on Hulu the next day.
Yeah.
The other one that I really like a lot is Will Trent. I think you and I have talked about that before, Kyle.
I asked you about
That's a really good detective show, and it's on season 3 where it tackles a lot of real fucking dark, serious stuff.
Okay.
But it's very good, and the main guy is incredible. The guy who plays Will Trent, he's very interesting, and the cases and stuff they work are very good. If you like those kind of police drama kind of things, it's actually super solid, and it's not too crazy, like The Rookie kind of got. The other show I've been keeping up with. I think the season's over. I can't remember. It's hard to tell these days because they don't really like spell it out. Remember on TV, like they would always be like the season finale or whatever.
Yeah.
If you catch up on Hulu, it's hard to figure out like if it's over or not.
It is sometimes for sure.
I was watching this one called Doc, which is about a doctor who she became like the chief of medicine and she was like a huge bitch, but then she got in some kind of car accident and lost like the last 7 or 8 years of her life. It's just gone. And part of what she lost is why she became so terrible is because like her son died. So she doesn't remember him dying. Okay. And that's like the whole crux of the thing because like now she's divorced and all this other stuff. And it's kind of an interesting show just to kind of see her have to like relearn her own life because it was and she can't fathom that like it became as fucked up as it did. So it's kind of an interesting one to watch. I think it's over now. So there's that. And then if for an action recommendation, and Kyle knows I've talked about it on here a ton, Reacher. If you like action stuff, watch Reacher.
Yeah, we need to watch
Reacher's so good.
I've seen the first couple episodes.
It's so good, and it's also like it's not just an action thing, even though there's a lot of that. It's also like a detective story, and there's a lot of other stuff. Like the relationships he has with people are very interesting, and like the mysteries and stuff go deep. Like they go real. The first season. Did you finish the first season?
No, okay. I got like 4 or 5.
Yeah, the mystery of that, like, it keeps kind of twisting and turning and going real deep until you figure out like what's actually going on.
Okay.
But that show, just like all 3 seasons, just banger after banger after banger.
Okay.
Totally worth it.
I'll give a current one and then 2 older things. Current, which it is in the middle of its last season right now, but I'm caught up on it, would be Handmaid's Tale. Crazy fucking show. Tremendously acted. It deserves every Emmy and award that it's gotten. But I could also understand, given current circumstances, it might not be the most pleasant show to watch. But it is probably one of my favorite shows the last decade. Like it is an incredible watch. The story of that thing is so interesting to me. I've really enjoyed that. Older, and then 2 older things, only because they've come up recently. I have one friend that's watching through it right now. It's a show I've seen twice and probably going to rewatch at some point over the summer. Would be Twin Peaks. It's probably be my favorite like drama show of all time. It's bizarre. It's a bizarre. It's David Lynch. It's a very bizarre show. But will stick with you for like forever. Like I still think about that. I joke about it with my friend he's very close to the end of the most recent like final season they did, but I tell him like I probably think about the last episode of the show probably like once or twice a week. Like it's ridiculous how the show ends. And then only because it came up today, because I saw once again like we're talking about rebooting it, and I don't know. I'm not necessarily against rebooting it, but it has to be done correctly. But the original X-Files, just fantastic show.
Please don't reboot that.
Don't reboot it. Please I'm in the boat of like, or we try to come back and kind of do like a little bit.
Make it 2 new people, and they're reopening the X-Files.
Yeah, I would be okay with that, rather than just be like, here's a new Scully and a new like it should be 2 new people, and that's exactly what it is. Reopening. It
should be 2 people, and the first episode is them going down to the basement, and they crack open his old office, and you see
mention him because you can even open the door for them to cameo at some point if you really want to.
You see the poster in his office, and it clearly hasn't been used in a decade.
It's all dusty and shit.
Yeah, exactly. And they're like, we got to, like, because they're down there looking for something that relates to something they're working on. And then they realize he's got all these open cases. And bam, there's your 13th episode. I just fucking
that would be fine.
It's done.
That would be the way I would want it to come back. And
what I don't want is I don't want it to go right back into aliens. Make it the monster of the week.
Make it the monster of the week, because that's the most fun of that show. Mm-hmm. Because of each episode was so unique in its story.
It was cool to like
with the monster,
where like occasionally like somebody would come back like a couple years later, like but
they would maybe do like a sequel to a monster of the week, and that was cool. The overarching like alien part of it gets kind of wonky.
It was fine early on, but then they started to like
really
push it and rewrite stuff from that that's like didn't make sense anymore.
And then I will say, unfortunately, when they brought it back in like 2016, 2017,
it was about a decade ago.
Those like 6-7 episodes, all good until the very last one.
Mm-hmm.
Very last one, not good. So, and it sucks because the other ones, probably some of the best, like, because I would say the first 4 seasons of that show are tremendous.
Yes.
Until they ended filming in Canada and they moved it to LA. Once they moved that show to LA, it kind of loses some of its luster just because of where they were filming. So it kind of, it's still a good show. Like it doesn't, I never think like the quality of it wanes so much that it becomes a bad show in any way. It gets a little weird that last season because he's gone, but for a while. But tremendous show, like especially those early seasons. Really, some really cool Monster of the Week stories.
Yeah, I still remember a lot of, and that was a long time ago. I still had
some really good ones.
Vivid memories. My favorite one. Remember,
you like the Trash Monster.
I like that. Oh, that one's a great episode.
It's a great episode.
The Pusher guy is really good too.
Pusher one's good. What's the one where the guy can like squeeze through vents?
Oh, it's called.
They brought him back again.
He had
for another
episodes.
one.
Yeah, that one was cool.
He was a cool villain. There's that one episode that was banned from TV that's fucked up, but a good one.
Home.
Yeah.
Remember the one where they're
really fucked up.
Remember the one where they go to that like haunted house and they keep going through the door, but they end up on the other side of the room, and they're like, "The fuck is this kind of stuff?" Like that stuff.
They
is
do
good.
stuff like that. That's really cool.
Because what's really good about the show is like it is Monster of the Week, but sometimes they're goofy. And
sometimes it'd be funny, like the Trash Monster.
Yeah, the Trash Monster
funny
one is hilarious, but it works.
Sometimes they're just fucking dark.
Yeah, bad, like real bad.
Like real dark, but it's a tremendous show, and there's nothing really like it.
Yeah, if you've never watched it, it's a phenomenal show.
That's why I say, like, when we talk about the game Control, that game combines like Twin Peaks and X-Files in a really unique way, and that's why I love both of those shows. So
that makes sense.
That's a tremendous. You want a game recommendation? Control.
Yeah. We talk about that enough. We talk about that enough.
Yeah, we talk about that game.
You
too
should
much,
have played Control by now if you're listening to what we talk about.
Yeah. So, but those would be my picks. So, but current day, I would say Handmaid's Tale. Crossing my fingers that it has a good ending, but I think it's going to. So, and then let's see. Our final email for this week comes to us from Randy from Chicago, Illinois. Hi, 572 crew. I got a question maybe you guys can help me with concerning if I should switch consoles or stay where I am. A little bit of background. Last generation and this generation, I've been Xbox. In fact, I've been an Xbox guy since the 360 days. Been a massive supporter of Game Pass since its inception, and up until recently, I found it to be a fantastic service. However, lately, I found it to be quite dull, and the constant pushback on games that just seem to keep getting delayed over and over again, Xbox's current brand identity crisis, and so on. I've been thinking about cashing it all in and going hard into a PS5. If I do it, I feel like I should go all in and get a Pro system to future-proof myself. It's clear that there won't be a Pro Series X system this generation, and lately I've found that Game Pass's offerings to be dismal. I am looking forward to Doom in May, but after that, I'm considering letting my subscription last when it is up in August. I recently built a new PC, so it's not like I'm losing out much on Xbox games since I can just play them over there. I'm also very interested in Death Stranding 2 next month, having just completed a run of the game on the recently released Xbox version of the original. Am I making the right choice? I've never done this before. Thanks for any guidance. I mean...
Short answer? You want a real short answer?
Short answer,
do it.
Yes. Yeah. Short answer is someone who owns 2 Series X systems. Like, if that's what you got to do to get a PS5, especially a PS5 Pro, and I would also tell you, like, now would be the time to get one because we have no idea what's going to happen with tariffs. It's every day I hear new numbers. Yeah. I would highly recommend it. Just to future-proof yourself, like you're saying, I think that's the smart decision. If you were going to go get one today and you care about that, you care about it having the best visuals and everything, then that would be the smart decision. And there's a plethora. If you didn't have a PS3 or a PS4, there's a massive library of games that are exclusive. If you didn't
have a PS4, there's so much good stuff for you to play.
And like, I don't know if you like JRPGs, but there's a lot,
tons of them
on the PlayStation.
Tons of
yeah,
them.
like so many good games.
They're just the main reason I say do it is Xbox is not giving you a reason to stay.
They're not. No, I agree.
Going
with that.
forward, like you're looking forward to Doom, great. It's on PlayStation. Like,
yeah,
you know, like going forward, all of this Xbox stuff is just going to end up on PlayStation. We've talked about it before. The only things I could see them holding back would maybe be a new Halo and maybe new Gears, but with Forza going over there, the whole thing is open. Forza's a pillar on the trident of Xbox franchises that are still relevant, and that's on PlayStation. So it's over. Like, and we've talked about it multiple times. The Xbox One, because they're selling you the games on PlayStation.
Everything else, yeah.
But yeah, they're not. And if you have a PC, you have no reason to stay at all.
That's the other thing too. If you just built a PC and you're okay with playing those games there, do it.
Remember,
there's literally nothing stopping you.
Everything's an Xbox now, and the closest thing to being an Xbox that's not an Xbox is a PC. Like, because an Xbox just is one.
I was say if you wanted a Series X Pro to exist, it's a PS5 Pro. So, because I mean, look at that. That's now the best way to play Indiana Jones.
Yep.
So that game's a heavily pro enhanced game.
Doom will be there.
Doom will probably be a heavily
Elder
enhanced
Scrolls
game.
6 will be there. I know people like to think that, they'll keep that. No, they won't, dude. They need to sell it. At this point,
they're not they're not locking anything.
They need to sell these games to make money.
Yeah.
Game Pass is a good thing to tell investors. It's not a good thing to bring in revenue. It's look how many people are on our platform is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't see a reason for you to stay. Like,
no,
Kyle knows I was a huge Xbox guy. I defended the one to everybody.
we both did.
But we tried to. But then not that I ever thought like the PS4 was that much better, but I slowly became a PS4 person when the Pro came out.
Like that was an interesting generation because that was the first one that I never like this generation around now is the first time I ever bought both systems out the gate at launch. I've never done that. I've always been we also like if you go back to in the day like they never really launched around the same time. They're always like a year here, a year there.
Yeah, PS4 and Xbox.
That's only been a more recent
thing. Was the first time, or
was the first time that happened.
Shit, man,
and
these things are at the same
I did
time.
Xbox it, but then it was a year after when I bought a PS4,
and
that was just because I wanted to play The Order and then Bloodborne. So,
I was given both of them, and had I not been, I don't think I would have bought a PS4 right away. I wouldn't have had a reason to.
Yeah, the thing that was weird about that generation, it was flip-flopped. Like, you got the good Xbox games early on.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the PlayStation games took a while, but when they finally hit, they hit and hit
flipped.
and hit. Yeah, it flipped. So by the time the Pro came out, there was a ton of good PS4 games to play. Whereas this generation, it's just been, Xbox, they just keep delaying everything.
All the time.
It's delayed. I mean, on the PlayStation side of things, like I said, I don't think it's been the greatest exclusive generation for them.
It statistically has not been.
They have had exclusive games and they've been good, but I don't think they've been great. So, like even going to something like Horizon 2 or God of War Ragnarok, like they're good. I don't think they're great,
right?
Like the originals. So.
But
again, if you've never played those,
you've got Horizon 1 to play.
There you go.
You've got
you played the remaster.
You can play all the Uncharted games except for one are good.
I would agree with that.
Yeah,
like one's kind of.
It just doesn't. After you play the others, it's hard to play one again.
Yeah, it's hard to play that one.
But like those alone are going to take you forever to play.
Those I was going to say those alone would probably be worth it. Last of Us 1 would be worth it.
Absolutely.
So there's a ton of stuff there that is definitely worth it. So. And at this point in the generation, like,
hey, you can play,
especially if you're building a PC, like you'll be able to play. I don't think there's a situation in which any of these announced games will not come to PC.
You won't miss anything by switching over. You will you'll continue to miss PlayStation stuff if you continue to stick on this platform for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing too, is like, then you can also make the decision of, do I keep Game Pass because I want to play these games day one when they come out, or can I wait a couple months till they come to PlayStation?
Right.
Yeah.
And instead of paying for a subscription, just buy the game outright.
Yeah.
So, like, I'll give you a prime example. Like, I could totally play that Claire Obscure game next week on Game Pass, but I'm buying a PS5 copy of it, mostly because I want to play the pro version of it.
Right.
So, but I could, again, totally play it on my PC if I wanted to. So, but I'm choosing to buy that game. So, but I'm also fingers
if you're
crossed
someone who
it's
was
like a
a
Lost
Game Pass
Odyssey.
person, like I don't see the value in like the PlayStation Premium stuff, mainly because I've played most of this stuff. I own most of this stuff. There's not.
You might see value in that.
He might because there's gonna be PlayStation stuff on there.
Even if you don't go to the top tier,
Right.
which I think the only thing they lock there is the PS1 classics.
PS1 games and a couple other things, but the middle tier would
trials and
probably
stuff.
be very good.
The middle tier would probably be definitely worth it over keeping Game Pass, just simply because there's going to be a ton of shit you have not played
Right.
that's on that service. So, it's not like I've never said that is a bad service in any way. It's different than Game Pass.
Yeah,
So,
it doesn't. I don't
it's not
see the
curated
value
like
in
that.
it as much as Game Pass because of you get
It's
all
a lot
of the
of older
Xbox
stuff,
stuff, and
yeah.
you get the Bethesda stuff, and you get the Activision stuff now, and they're slowly adding that stuff in. Like, I just feel like the value exists more in Game Pass, but it's also the only value Xbox has.
It is. I can't.
They don't
I can't
print
argue
physical
that.
copies of stuff anymore. Look at them
Now,
out.
like you walk into a Walmart, that section is like the smallest of the 3 games systems. It is like a 4-foot section for Xbox is like what you have now.
Yep.
Even at Best Buy, I went into the Best Buy in your town. That was it the last time I was out there, or the time before? It was recent.
Okay.
Within the last time we recorded. And once again, like it's just all 3 of those sections are sad.
Mhm.
But the Xbox one is the most sad.
Yeah, it almost doesn't
It's
have
like,
a reason to exist
there's
anymore.
like 3 games and then a bunch of accessories. Like that's what that aisle is.
It should have
and
no
then
games
toys.
anymore. It should just be accessories, consoles, and
Cards
cards
for digital
and
subscriptions.
That's all that should be.
So, but I'll say like even the PlayStation section, it doesn't have
All
a large
3 of those. All
section.
3 of those things could be
Switch
one
has the
aisle.
most. It should all be one
It should
aisle.
just
I
be
agree with
one
that.
aisle.
It's weird that it's 3.
It's weird going into a Best Buy
So-
now. That's a weird tangent. Best Buy should be half the size they are.
It should be.
Oh, yeah.
I 100% agree because it's like they don't sell movies anymore.
Nope. No
So that
physical
whole
media.
part of that store is gone, and there's a lot of just open space.
Yep. It's
That's
weird.
just like wasted open space.
Just was
that
filled with like overstocked TVs they just set in the aisles.
it is, or like speakers or
Mhm.
whatever. Yeah, it's weird. Walking into a Best Buy now is really weird. So very
Sad.
bizarre. Sad. It's sad. I loved going there and buying movies.
My
can't do
friends
that
and I
anymore.
used to go there and hang out.
Yeah. Well, there
You could look
you
at
could walk
CDs
through
and the movies
like
and-
aisle after aisle of movies and stuff, and that's all gone. So, they even have a CD section?
Oh
now?
God,
Or
that's
they
been
get rid of
gone
that
forever.
too? That's been gone before the
Yeah,
movies.
that
Okay.
was gone a long time ago.
Okay. I know they do sell I know there's like a little 4-foot section somewhere in there where they sell some records.
Vinyl,
Kind of
because vinyl
like Walmart
back
style.
for a different reason.
Mhm.
It is back for a different reason. As someone
But
who
if you're a
buys
vinyl, but
so,
if you're a vinyl person, go to a record store.
I was gonna
Like,
say if you're a vinyl person I just go to the
you
record
should have a
store.
record
So,
store you go to and
you should
support
have a record
record
store to go
stores,
to.
not Best Buy and Walmart.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. So, but yeah, no, I think that's all of our sentiment on that. So, once again, thank you everybody who emailed in. You can send your emails into podcast572@gmail.com. Otherwise, we will be back in another 2 weeks for another edition of the podcast. Thank you for listening or watching.
Thank you, everyone.
Stay safe.